go. Let's go. We back. Turn up.
Wait till we get that notification.
I get it. I'm just playing. Let me stop it.
Wait till you get that notification.
Come on, don't play around. Okay, we
I got it.
I just got it. I got it.
Yeah, you can hear
We
us.
can hear it now.
Boom.
Yeah, let's go. Oh, yeah.
Let's get it.
Y'all, I was anxious. Oh, let me. All right. What's good, everybody? We back, y'all. Episode 20, 2020. I'm Rod.
My bad. It's cool. We good. I'm Mike. What up, Brotherly Differences World? What's good?
And this our special guest, Apo Agbamu,
What's
founder
up,
of
everybody?
Arvo Investing app.
How's everybody doing today? Thanks, Mike and Rod, for having me today, and ready to talk some sports today.
Here, Artisan Fitness, by the way. Y'all already know what it is.
Absolutely.
So we got a full show for y'all today, as always. Y'all know how we coming. We got a full show today with sports topics from NBA to NFL. We got the Real Talk section. Apo gonna be with us here all night, or all day for the show. Not all night, all day for the show. We got L in the background. You know he don't want to be seen, Mr. Off Camera Man. That's what we gonna call him, Mr. Off Camera. But yeah, we got a special guest on the show, man. Apo Agbamu, me and Apo go way back
Absolutely.
to high school days. Like he said, probably about 13, 14 years. But I'm going to let Apo tell us a little bit about himself. Apo, let the people know, how do you know us, brothers?
Absolutely. Thanks again, Mike and Rod, for having me. I've known Rod for probably about, again, I think you mentioned 13, 14 years. Played basketball together at Tartan, and we also, went to college together at UMD. He was my roommate for a year as well. And then through Rod, met Mike, and Mike and I are actually going to be working a lot closer together going forward. He's actually in one of the investing clubs that my company put together. So, as he mentioned, I own an investing software company called Arvo. We rank every stock and ETF basically that's on the market, and we put investing clubs of people together, and they co-invest a pool of capital. So that's a newer initiative. But yeah, again, thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Hey, we gonna Apo gonna tell y'all a little bit more about some upcoming news he got later, some events he got coming up, so that y'all could get in tune with Arvo if y'all inquiring about investing and stuff like that. My man Apo is the guy to talk to. But Apo, let's tell the people about some of your favorite sports teams or players. Because this is Brotherly Differences.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, that's Alvin on here. What up, Alvin?
Alvin, what's going on, bro?
Alvin is a loyal fan, man. We appreciate Alvin. He's one of our loyal fans with Morgan too, and the rest of our people on there. But Apo, let the people know.
Spiffy Madden, what's going on?
let the people know what's your favorite team or some of your favorite players.
Some of my favorite teams, in terms of basketball, it's definitely been the Lakers. Obviously, you can tell that. That's been ingrained for quite some time. So obviously, I'm a Kobe fan. Rest in peace. The late great Kobe Bryant. But yeah, so Lakers, group of Lakers fan. Also from that era. Allen Iverson, Jerry Stackhouse, Tracy McGrady was in that era. So I grew up, in the early, like the 90s. Those were the, some of the dominant name of the 90s. And then if you start talking, more this era, obviously you've got LeBron. I respect him. And who else? Curry, again, respect him. I wouldn't put him up there, as some people do, but, I think he's up there in terms of talent.
So who do you cheer for nowadays?
Who do I cheer for? Oh, I always cheer for the Lakers, even when they were losing. So, for me, I'm actually, happy that they're winning again because, I was getting it for a while, almost for a decade there. We were getting beat up in terms of basketball. In terms of football.
So now you're kind of a LeBron fan because he's on the Lakers.
I wouldn't say I'm a LeBron fan. I was never not a LeBron. I never hated against LeBron. I never hated against LeBron. What the conversation always would come to is Kobe versus LeBron, right? So I just naturally started getting some resentment towards him. But, I've always admired his talent. But, at the end of the day, it's always Lakers regardless of who's playing there. So he came there. The franchise is the franchise, regardless of whether they're winning. But
that's the true definition of a
that's a dynasty.
diehard fan,
yeah,
too. You're
and you can vouch for this. So it's and anybody that knows me, it's Lakers all day when it comes to basketball.
Okay, so that's cool. That's cool. So you mentioned Kobe, and I know you personally, so I know Kobe was your man. Can you speak on what Kobe did to you for the game of basketball, or just in general your journey in life? What did the Mamba do for you?
Growing up, obviously, basketball was a bigger thing in my life back then than it is now, obviously. But, I think just in terms of mentality, and again, that's the thing that separates certain players from other players for me, when stats are just kind of in the same range, is like the things that, you can't see. What's the saying? Not everything that counts, not everything that can be counted counts, and not everything that counts can be counted. So basically, intangibles and things of that nature matter, and that's the type of
One of my followers said, "Fuck the
hey, it's
that's
all
Morgan,
good.
by the way.
That means you're doing something right. When people hate, that means
I don't even
that,
know who Morgan likes.
you're doing something
He's a
right.
Chiefs fan.
He a Hawks fan.
Oh
He
yeah,
a
he
Hawks
likes the
fan.
Hawks.
Yeah, but regardless of that, it's just that mentality, and again, it's personified in Mamba mentality. But I think anybody who's really competitive, competitive players like that are usually tend to be ones that you gravitate towards.
I feel it. I respect that. We'll get into football here in a little bit, a little later. We're not going to even talk about football now because I don't want the people to be like, "Right, get this dude off the show," because they harsh. Okay, the fans
I'm not
on
worried
here are
about them.
harsh. I know you probably not,
I
but
like
they're harsh.
it. I like
They're
it.
harsh.
I'm not even reading the
I'm just
comments.
afraid
I'm just here to
if-
school you and you. Don't try to pass this off on them and try.
No, I'm just saying, I'm afraid
They're not
that
gonna
if you
save
start
you.
being Oppo,
They're not
they're
gonna
going to
save-
see that.
They're not going to
Okay.
save you today.
All right, you've been warned. Just like a lot of people have been warned. And when the topics come up, you guys have been warned. My home's weak as hell. But then my man's in them. Yeah, Morgan, we're not going to even waste any airtime on
I didn't
Hawks
even know
today.
they were still a franchise. Is
Yeah,
that
we're-
like a WNBA team?
We're not going to waste any airtime on them
They
today.
do got a good future though, Trae Young.
We're not going to
Yeah.
waste any airtime on the Atlanta Dream. I meant the Atlanta Hawks.
I'm just
We're
kidding.
not going to do that today. We're going to talk about real topics. Team that's in the bubble. Okay, that's in Orlando. And I'm sorry, the Hawks are not one of them. There's 13 teams in the bubble. No. There's 13 in the West, 9 in the East.
22.
22 total. Yeah. 13
13 in the West, 9 in the East. And we're going to talk about those teams. And I'm sorry, Morgan, the Hawks aren't one of them, so we're going to keep on with the show. Thank you. Basically, week 1 of the restart happened last Thursday. We've seen a handful of games now. We know what's going on. I'll be like, someone get Rod off the show because he will bring up the weak-ass Broncos. Oh, Alvin, that's coming up, and watch your mouth. Don't you start to get disrespectful. After week 1 of the restart, Mike and Oppo, what team or player or team are you guys impressed with, or what team are you guys worried about?
I mean,
Go ahead.
All right.
The
I would
people
say
haven't heard
actually,
from you, Mike. You kind of quiet over there. Don't be quiet today. Don't be quiet today.
I'll tell you the team I'm actually worried about is the team I actually care about, which is the Lakers. I don't even.
No, when I say worried, though, when we say worried, that means like you have a stress about them going into this playoffs, or if you're impressed about
How
them.
Well,
are we
basically,
playing?
what I'm saying is that people made a big deal about them getting the number 1 seed, but they're playing in a bubble anyway, so home court doesn't matter. It's basically kind of just like a novelty. So, ultimately, I have some questions about their depth. After we know what LeBron and AD are going to do, but there's some weaknesses that I see in. They don't have Avery Bradley, who would have been a really big,
We should give them the
useful
whole
person
NBA.
to have on, right now. But I think the Lakers are probably, the team to watch because the West is always deep, and obviously you've got the set. They're not the first. Again, you can debate who's the first and the second, but it's either them or the Clippers, in my opinion, and I think that would be the consensus. If it's not, and that's who they have to play anyway to get to what ultimately matters, which is winning. So I'm going to be worried about them until the Clippers are basically knocked out, which I don't envision happening until they play each other. So
Okay.
Week 1 for you, Mike.
The team that surprised me is the Suns. Actually, they 4-0.
Yeah.
Beat the Clippers. They just beat the
A
Pacers.
team that won't even be in the playoffs.
Hey, you saying what's the most impressive
Hey,
team
he
the
said
first
this
week?
week too.
Yeah, just this week they most impressive. They can still make the playoffs, but yeah, they won't do it. They won't make any noise. And also the player for me, I'm gonna have to go with T.J. Warren. He didn't have that great of a game today, but man, before that he was averaging 30. The first 3 games he was averaging 39.
Yeah,
So he was balling.
that 53 game skewed it though.
Yeah, definitely skewed it, but he was balling.
Yeah.
That's just for the first week though. So what's your answer? I know you're
Well,
gonna bring up the Heat,
I wonder who did he do that on? He did that on the Sixers, who y'all was saying off air could beat the Heat.
and you know the Thunder balling.
But a team I'm impressed with. A lot of people don't have to go far. I mean, you don't have to really do your research to know who I'm impressed with. I mean, I've been impressed with them all season, quite frankly. The Miami Heat. I mean, and today was no different.
Surprise.
I mean, the Bucks
Right.
came back. Yeah, surprise.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
For
you
real.
should be impressed with Miami Heat. Look at what we've been doing. I mean, Jimmy Butler hasn't played the last 2 games. Dragic didn't play, or Butler didn't play today. People want to bring up who didn't play and who's not playing in games. And we was up 23 on the Bucks. The Bucks need to be worried about us. Okay? The question I made this question, because I'm talking about a team we should be worried about. You should be worried about the Milwaukee Bucks. They lost to the Brooklyn Nets. I was about to call them New Jersey. That's how disrespected they is. They lost to the Brooklyn Nets without Kyrie Irving, Spencer Dinwiddie, and Kevin Durant. Like, who's on the Nets? Larry. Me and James was on the Nets the other day. We
I
heard
heard
the
Griffey
Bucks.
took a nap at halftime.
Why? What I'm saying is, if the Bucks are so cold, he should have been up by 40 by halftime. That's what I'm saying. The Bucks got holes everywhere.
You know they
Because-
was up. You know they was up.
Like
And
I
I
said,
don't know why he didn't play in the same
You
half.
shut Giannis down, a lot of those other players get tight. And today he did go off on my Heat, 33-17. He did his little thing.
And they
But-
beat y'all by double digits after being down by almost 25.
But Jimmy Buckets wasn't there. And then,
Oh, okay.
and then this was their
Y'all
first time.
10 deep.
This was we 10 deep. You already know, Team Heat 10 deep, and I named him on the last show. I gotta keep bringing up Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero,
All
Jack
right,
Crowder,
next topic.
Iguodala, Iggy,
I
Bam,
can't wait to play.
Dragic,
The
and
Heat
Dragic
are not
wasn't
going
even
to
there
win the
today.
East.
I can't wait. And he's
You're
gonna
not
be
gonna
so
win
quiet
the
and make
East.
We're gonna beat the Bucks.
Huh?
We're gonna beat the Bucks.
No, you're
No.
not.
It's easy for y'all to sit here and say the Bucks are gonna
I
win.
can't
the
wait
East
to.
because y'all
I
just jumping
pray
on the
y'all get
bandwagon.
the fourth seed.
Yeah.
I don't even
still-
care about the East, but it's not going to be the Heat.
It's gonna be the Bucks, though, right?
Yes.
Please, we want you to say that on air.
Raptors will
Will
beat
we-
y'all in the
Will we beat
series.
the Celtics in the series, Abo? Will
Do
we
I
beat
think
the
that
Celtics?
the Heat are better than the Celtics?
Yeah,
I think that's more of a conversation than the Heat
and
and the Bucks.
Yeah.
The Bucks are not that cold. Like,
They are in the A tier of a team where the Heat are a upper B tier team.
okay, so wait, that's funny. So wait, I literally want to
Is
ask
that
questions.
true or false? Is that
Well, I'm trying to
just
get
it's a
clarity
yes or
because
no
I think
answer?
it's false.
It's a yes or no.
No, I think that's false as hell. Because let me tell you, they're not a tier A team. Because I'm telling you, when the playoffs come, we'll see how tier A is. They have one tier A player, and they got Brook Lopez as a starting center who be shooting threes at 7'1".
Right.
You think
the
we're
Bucks
really
So
are
that
worried
means
about
gonna
that
help y'all
that
today.
means that Giannis is that good where he should actually be the MVP then, right?
Well, that's going to be the next question. Giannis
No, I want-
is going to be the MVP. I never debated those facts, but just because you're the MVP, what did he do
I
last year?
pray that the Heat play
He
the
was
Bucks.
MVP
So
last
what-
year,
what
and we
makes
know
you-
what happened.
what makes
Kawhi
you think
Leonard
that he-
happened, right? Didn't Kawhi happen? And what did the MVP
But y'all
do?
don't have
Wait,
Kawhi.
who the hell on Miami Heat is even close to Kawhi Leonard?
Defensively, Jimmy Butler's on that team.
Defensively, love how he framed that question. No, we're not
That's
talking
what
about
stop-
in general. You have to talk about both sides of the basketball.
Defensively. And Miami, and we're talking about both sides of the ball. You're talking about one of
Giannis
the
is-
best defensive teams in the league is the Miami Heat. With Bam Adebayo controlling the middle. We got Jimmy Buckets. We got
I like
defense
that
all
deal,
over.
Morgan. I like that deal.
How about this?
So
If the
he
Bucks
thinks
beat the
that
Heat,
Bam is going to
Rock
stop.
No, he's not.
You think Bam's
Bam
going to
had
stop
one good
Giannis?
game. Apple speaking.
Bam has stopped Giannis.
You think Bam's going to stop
Bam has
Giannis?
stopped Giannis.
In a season game, yeah, he had
Bam
to
has
ride.
stopped
In the
Giannis.
playoffs-
Yeah, see,
And
you
what's
can't
gonna
take.
stop-
You
what's
can't.
gonna stop Giannis is not having the jump shot.
Rod, you can't
That's what's
take.
going to stop him. Not being able to shoot.
You can't.
It's
Okay,
gonna stop him.
let's tone it down. Let's talk. But you can't take Giannis or Bam shutting Giannis down for one or two instances
He didn't shut him down today.
and think he's a better player.
I never said Bam is
Did he
better
shut
than
him down
Giannis.
today?
He's
What,
the
what, hap-
kryptonite
what,
for
what
you.
happened
Just
today?
because you're somebody's kryptonite doesn't mean you're better.
Right.
And the team that he got around him with Iggy, with Crowder, with bodies to throw at him, and Jimmy Butler and Bam, we have the pieces to guard Giannis Antetokounmpo. We're not afraid of him. Jay Crowder will go up against anybody. And then on offense, we got shooters out this world. Then we got my man
I can't
Dragic
wait to play
going
off.
to the rim. We got Bam. We got Olenek is stepping up now, looking like the Gonzaga Olenek. Just wait till August 17th to the playoffs start. Just wait. Watch. Just watch.
I just want to put money on it. That's all I care about. Because if you're that confident, that's easy money. I'll take that. I'll take whatever.
And we can put money on Lakers Clippers. That'd be easy money for me because the Clippers are going to take
Well,
that.
no, I actually, like I said, I admitted that I'm actually concerned about the Lakers. So
It's
I
a
don't know if I would bet
difference.
on
Yeah,
that.
see,
Oh, wait, you
See, the
think
thing
you're
is, I can
concerned?
like a team and actually
Keep it
be
clean.
practical about what I
Wait a
think's going
minute.
to happen.
Wait.
I-
You're concerned about the Lakers to face the Clippers, right?
Yeah, the Clippers
Okay,
have
so
a
wait,
more
don't,
complete
but,
team.
but hold on, time out. Don't say act like I'm just not naive against Miami because I've said the Clippers will beat the Heat in the finals. But the Bucks are not that. The
Clippers
Bucks are
are
not
taking the
Kawhi
finals.
Leonard. The Bucks are not Kawhi Leonard. We saw what Kawhi Leonard did to Giannis last year.
Clippers not beat Clippers and Heat.
Okay,
will
so-
win.
And wait.
So you're going to discount everything that both of those people have done to become better players for an entire year based off of what happened
No,
last
but I'm
year?
going to tell you.
That
listen.
doesn't matter that much. It's last year, like you just said.
Well, it
Rod,
does
you're
kinda matter.
at what you were last year. Yeah, I'm gonna
Well-
I'm gonna compare you for that today.
Well,
That's what you're
I
saying.
mean, your
That makes
game,
no
your
sense.
game doesn't really kind of at this point.
Giannis's game even got better. That's why he's gonna win a second back-to-back MVP. What are you talking about? He elevated his game that much.
Okay,
Yeah,
Steve
yeah.
Nash won a back-to-back MVP and didn't reach the finals. What does that mean? I'm saying.
So now Giannis is Steve Nash. Steve Nash shouldn't even have shown up. Now you want to get into
Well-
something. He shouldn't even have two MVPs.
Well,
First of
that
all,
might
Kobe
be-
should have one of them.
That might be right, but he.
You know, if it wasn't for
Did he make the
optics,
conference finals in one of them? Did Nash make the conference
05.
finals in one of them? So my point is this.
that doesn't matter. You know he should have
hey,
two
come on.
rings.
So wait, if
So don't
Giannis,
bring
if
that up.
Giannis-
Giannis aren't.
if
they're in
Giannis-
both of these.
Both.
Wait,
He
didn't
made
LeBron
conference
went back-to-back?
finals in
Both.
both.
Didn't LeBron went back-to-back finals MVPs and didn't go to the finals either? Okay, then. So if Giannis
Exactly,
So
then
wait, so
you
so
think
wait,
he's
but
the
I'm saying-
best player.
No,
He-
I don't think LeBron's the best player. And what I'm saying is Giannis is not the best player in the league to me. He will win MVP.
Who the best player in the league?
Because the best player in the league, we already talked about that when he's healthy, is that KD. He's the best player in the league. And then James Harden and Kawhi is right there. They're better than Giannis. That doesn't mean just because you win MVP.
Giannis,
Kawhi is better than Giannis. He proved it last year in the playoffs
I'll
that
give
he was
you-
better
I'll
than
give you
Giannis.
Kawhi,
And
Giannis,
wait,
but
this is what I'm saying. Hold on.
Giannis is
Wait a
it.
minute. You keep acting like people acting like the Heat don't got Jimmy Butler now with that 10 deep to go with Butler. Last year Butler went
I
seven.
pray
Butler
in
went
the
seven
playoffs.
with
I
Kawhi.
pray. I pray that he
Butler
played
went
above.
7 with Kawhi, and Kawhi hit that shot that hit the back.
So who do you think is going to take it from Giannis on the Heat? Because there has to be somebody.
What do you mean
It's not.
take it?
Who's going to be Jimmy Butler? Is
Our
that what
team
you're
is
putting
gonna
up?
take- We're 10 deep. We're 10 deep.
10 deep?
10 deep. Led by Butler and Adebayo. We're 10 deep.
Okay,
10 deep.
interesting.
You heard it here first.
Interesting.
And we talked about this. We kind of talked about this within the last topic. Giannis for MVP. I agree with that. Is there a challenge for Giannis to be MVP? No.
What's up, Mike?
What up, Mike?
Yeah, Mike is.
Giannis challenge for MVP. Is there a challenge for Giannis for MVP, or should he be unanimous?
No, I think it's pretty clear. I think it's pretty
Yeah, he should be
clear,
unanimous. It shouldn't even be. Nobody should get a first place vote but Giannis.
No, it should be unanimous. If they give it to Curry for that season, Giannis deserves it for this one.
Yeah. I don't
And
think he has
honestly,
no-
the
yeah.
thing that also people have to take into consideration is I'm not really even making too much of anything up until the playoffs. I don't care about anybody who's still in the regular season. Just whoever makes the playoffs, then it matters because now you've had enough games to warm up. Because there's still a lot of things that are getting etched out with a lot of these teams where I really
Facts.
don't take it that serious.
Well, yeah, I'm just talking I'm just talking crap at this
You literally almost had like a full off season.
They
What is
had
the
a full
NBA
offseason.
off season? 4 months.
It's 6 months for players who don't make the playoffs from April to October.
Right, now,
but it's 4 months for
Yeah,
people
now
who are the
granted
finals.
they were working out or whatever, but you still had that long period of
They
time.
hit an off season basically.
where they weren't, and it wasn't like they could work out and practice together. You actually couldn't practice with your teammates. You know what I mean? You might be able to watch
Some
film.
pools wouldn't even hoop because everybody got a gym in their house.
Or if you know you ain't getting no tick, you might as well just collect that
The
check.
Hawks and them, the teams like the Hawks and Bulls
Yeah.
basically got the whole year off.
Yeah.
They haven't played since March, and they
And
won't
that's
play
what
until December.
Steve Kerr was talking
Exactly.
about. That he was talking about he wanted a mini camp for like those 8 teams that wasn't in it because they wasn't gonna have no time to.
And they don't play till December.
Exactly.
Yeah, then they got to come back for training camp in like what November.
Mm-hmm.
And don't sleep on Middleton. Alvin Middleton don't show up every game, man. He's hit or miss. I like Middleton though.
Middleton
He's
is
up and coming.
he
but
plays
hit or
his
miss.
role. Everybody has a role on a team, and he does his role
Yeah,
well.
our roll is 10 deep. Just smash at come at you 10 different ways. That's our role. That's what we're gonna do. Speaking of roles, what are y'all playoff expectations this year for Harden and Westbrook?
I'll go on this one. My expectations is I think they have a shot to win the championship. They're not my pick, but they have a shot. I think they have a good shot. But to me, my expectations, I don't think they'll beat either LA team in 7. So I won't really crucify them if they lose. But to me, they should be able to beat them. Like I won't make excuses if they lose. Like you got to ball out because they're both getting at that age, so they do need to get a ring. So for my expectations, I think they'll be a second round out. They're going to lose to LA teams, but if you lose to anybody else, that's unacceptable.
Rod, what do you think?
My expectations for Harden and Westbrook would be if they had a better coach that didn't do boneheaded stuff, they would go to the finals and they possibly would win it.
LeBron fan.
What do you think
the
about
reason
the
why-
height thing that they did, though?
Yeah, that's
Getting
dumb.
rid of the
That's
height.
the coaching because that's on
Matt,
D'Antoni's
they on pick.
That's on because Alvin love the
I'll
Rockets.
take
And
that bet.
I want the Rockets to go to the finals too, but I don't think
I
they
like
will.
them. They
take
won't.
that
They
bet.
won't go to the finals, and it's
I
not.
hope
gonna
they
be,
go to the
It's
finals.
not going to be because of Harden and Westbrook. And my point against Mike is Mike tried to say, well, AD and LeBron's going to be the best player in that series for sure, and that's not the case. The case is going to be that AD and Harden is going to be the best players for sure, or AD and LeBron's going to be the best because they're going to out-rebound a bunch of midgets. They're going to rebound Covington, who's the center at 6'6".
Well, that's why I
And
said
PJ
they're going to
Tucker's
lose the second
a 4'6"
round.
guy.
They
But
should
I'm
have got
saying,
rid of
that
Capella.
doesn't mean that
Yeah,
AD
they
and
definitely
that
should've
doesn't
got
mean that
rid of
AD and LeBron is
Makes you
outplaying Harden
one-dimensional.
and Westbrook. No, that just means
No,
that
you can't lose to
it's
AD
a
and
dumb
LeBron.
Makes
line.
you one-dimensional when you get
Westbrook
rid of
and Harden
all your
gotta show the
size.
fuck
That's
out, show the fuck out. Yeah, Westbrook and Harden, they're going to do their part, but they're not.
No, they
gonna
better
do
show
anything.
out. No, they
They're
got
not
to
gonna-
play good.
They're not going to do anything.
If they lose, they still got to play good.
They're
You
not
can't
going to
show
do
it.
anything to a championship aspirations. My point is, that I think they're going to show up. When we talk about numbers and what they're going to get statistically, they're going to show
Well,
up.
what's showing up? Because to you earlier, you said 38-8-8 ain't showing out.
Well, not when you're
So
supposed to
you
win.
got to win.
Not
basically.
when you're supposed to win. That's it. See, bring in context.
Oh, okay.
They're talking about the context of the argument. He had a better team than the Magic. James Harden, I got a better team than LeBron right now. LeBron has everything. 3 7-footers that all can
Stop.
protect the rim.
Don't
Like
say
I said,
3 7-footers. Don't
3
just say it.
7-footers. Dwight Howard can protect
Alvin.
the rim.
Then Tony's stupid for not playing Tyson Chandler.
Dwight Howard got 10
Don't
double doubles
use
this
the-
year.
don't-
Dwight Howard got 10 double
Don't
doubles
use
this year.
the dude.
Dwight
Dwight
Howard
Howard.
got 10
He
double
averaged
doubles
7
this
points
year.
a game. Relax.
Dude, Dwight Howard got 10 double doubles this year. How many double doubles did Dennis Rodman have in 3 years with Michael Jordan?
I don't know,
In
but Dennis
3
Rodman
years with
averaged,
Michael
he
Jordan.
averaged 15 rebounds a game.
How many double doubles did he have with Michael Jordan? I want somebody to find that out. I wish we had a stat man here to find out how many double doubles did Dennis Rodman have with Michael Jordan.
Anyway,
in 3
let's
years.
get back to the original question.
That was the original question.
No, it was Westbrook and Harden.
Oh, yeah,
Well,
go
their
ahead, go
playoff
ahead.
expectations is going to be to the second round. Why don't they?
Yeah, I mean,
they're not going to go anywhere. I mean,
because their coach is stupid, Alvin.
well,
D'Antoni.
even if they had a good coach, they weren't going to be anybody. They're not. They're not
Yeah,
better
it's
than
not
the
about the
Lakers.
coach.
And they're not
That's
better than the
LeBron fan
Clippers.
stuff.
It's not LeBron fan stuff. They wouldn't because the coaches would have never traded away.
It doesn't matter.
His
They're
power
still
forwards
not
and
better than
centers.
the Lakers or the Clippers, and they're not going to beat
With
them in
Capella,
7.
they would have beat the Lakers.
No, that is blasphemy.
Capella would have gave him a better chance.
They have a better probability, yes.
What has AD done in the playoffs?
That's not the point here. The Lakers are actually still a better team than Houston.
No,
Houston's
to me,
just not that
Rockets
good.
is up to Westbrook and Harden outplaying AD and LeBron.
That's
They can
not
win.
going to happen.
That's what I'm saying. If that happens, I do think they got a shot.
That will happen.
Because
James
Westbrook
Harden's
has
gonna be
been playing
the best
well
player
of
in that
But
series.
to me, Lakers team ain't
But
that
I'm
much
saying James
better.
Harden's
Like
going to be
that.
the best player in that series. Easily.
Stop.
Who gonna be the best player in that series?
James Harden.
You don't know that. LeBron and AD could possibly be.
James Harden, I honestly think that for the Rockets to even have a chance of winning, Westbrook's the one that's going to have to show out. And then Harden, if he has to close, has to be actually able to do that. Because he has shown an inability to close games. Other than a few one-off times when he was...
He has an ability to show you close off games, but y'all just raved on Giannis being the MVP again. But we saw last year, he hit...
No, but that's only... When has Giannis really only had one really competitive team? Last year. And that was really a show-out year.
LeBron
When
don't
did James
respect. He
Harden-
don't
No.
respect.
When did
No,
James Harden
LeBron don't
respect-
respect.
No, that's like his
Harden
first time. And
LeBron
Harden,
respect Harden.
Harden has
I'm asking, when has
consistently...
Harden had a real-life competitive team that can compete with KD, Curry, and Klay Thompson? What? Rockets...
2018, they went 7. They went 7 with them.
Name that team, please. Can we get some names?
Chris Paul's a top player.
Well, we're not talking about that team specifically. That was only a 3-year
That was his
period.
best team. I'm asking you though, what team has Chris Paul? You
It's not how you lose. It's not losing sometimes. It's how you lose.
And he lost in 7 to the Warriors.
And then what happened the other 2
He
years?
lost in 6 to the Warriors one year. Then he
Last
lost
year,
in-
you can't. I mean,
when I count Harden as a top 5 player,
And no,
I'm
when
not
he
talking-
won the 6, it wasn't even like it was a competitive like 2-2, and then it was like you know what I mean?
it was 2-2.
like,
No, it was 2-2. You talking about last? You talking about last year when they went
KD got hurt
6?
when they went 6. He said,
Well,
what
you
did they do the last few years? I said they lost.
Oh,
in 7,
no, in
and they lost in
2015
6.
they lost 4-1.
that's what I'm saying.
16 they lost 4-1
But I
without
know,
Curry.
but see, you got to get the context out. But I didn't count Harden as a top 5 player until 2017. That's when I had Harden into my top 5. I didn't have him top 5.
But Rodney versus Spurs in 17, he choked. Remember, he had 10
That's
points.
versus Spurs.
He had 10 points. I'm
just saying that
that's what
Harden-
he's
But
bringing
that
up.
same Spurs team was up 30 on the Warriors with KD. The one
Okay,
But
that
Kawhi
does not
didn't
change
play.
the fact.
Kawhi didn't play in that game
he
6.
got hurt.
You,
That
that's
doesn't change the
unacceptable.
fact. All I'm saying is that Harden has not delivered. He's never made it to the finals.
With the OKC. As the best
He never
player.
led a team to the. Yeah, Rod.
That's
do
my
that.
point.
That's
Who has though? Besides when they beat their teams up, that's all I'm saying. LeBron led a team to the finals when he beat. This
Well,
team.
you act like Harden has had
his team wasn't
nobody.
beat.
Nobody. Who does the Rockets have? I'm
Hold on. Go back to that. LeBron didn't have a beefed up team in 07. You
I
said
said
that.
besides that, and then he got swept. So we not counting because Harden went to the finals too. Besides that, when has LeBron led a team like James Harden's team? I'm asking.
2018.
Kevin Love, J.R. Smith, Tristan Thompson. They still was the best team in the
This
East.
dude said Tristan Thompson.
They still was Curry.
Curry
They
stole 15. In 15, I agree.
Curry
I
did steal
agree.
that MVP from
In
Harden.
15, he stole that MVP from Harden.
That's a fact.
And all I'm saying
I
is
agree with that.
James Harden has never had a championship caliber team. That's why he should get the credit he should get because
No,
that's
no,
not-
that's
yeah, I
not
don't
true.
agree with
That's
that,
not
yeah.
true.
wow, PJ.
There's
Nah,
not-
in 18, he had a
No,
championship
it's
caliber team.
going still. It's still.
Harden
Going.
do go hard in the
Still
paint. Harden do go hard in the paint, but he's had a championship caliber team in 2018. And last year,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
they was there last year and they lost when KD was out. You don't lose that game.
That's a
you-
fact.
You don't lose that game.
That's a fact. So you're talking about a three-headed monster,
What did
right?
Chris Paul do? What three-headed monster?
Exactly, because
No, what did Chris Paul
KD
do?
was out.
No, my point is, what did Chris Paul do? He look up Chris Paul versus the Warriors. The 2 years he played in.
Look,
he
speaking
played in
of Chris
5
Paul-
games, and then he played in 6 games. He did nothing.
You guys try to. He should have made. You tell me him and Chris Paul couldn't have made the finals once.
Because Chris Paul was hurt. What do you mean him and Chris Paul? Chris Paul was hurt. He never
Chris
could
Paul
finish
get
the
hurt
season.
18,
And don't bring
but-
up Chris Paul. But Oppo, see, you haven't been here. Chris Paul never made a conference finals without James Harden. Chris Paul never made it past the second round. Chris Paul also lost a 3-1 lead to James Harden, to Josh Smith, and Corey Brewer. Chris Paul is a choke artist. So don't talk to me about Chris Paul like he is KD, Curry who beat LeBron down 2-1 with no other All-Star and Clay had 6.4 points in a closeout game and he still won a finals game. Y'all something talking about Chris Paul and that bum lost to
Stop
Corey
it.
Brewer
Chris Paul's
and Josh Smith in a playoff game.
Chris Paul's
I know
a
you
good
remember
help.
that.
Chris
I
Paul's
know
a
you
good
remember
help.
that.
Chris Paul's
What happened
good.
when Chris Paul lost to Corey Brewer and Josh
In
Smith in the playoff
15, in
game?
15,
With Blake Griffin and DeAndre
they
Jordan.
choked that lead away.
And they won game 1 without Chris Paul, didn't they? Didn't Chris Paul miss the first game of that
Well,
season?
that
missed
team
the
had
first
a
game.
lot of issues. That team had a lot of issues.
It seems like all Chris Paul teams have issues.
Look at you have your
The
power
Rockets
forward.
have issues. Don't it seem like all of Chris Paul? That's my point.
What
It
you
seems
talking
like a
about,
lot of
Morgan?
Chris Paul teams
What you mean
have
championship
issues.
team shit when I was talking about KG? Rob bringing up the team. To me, Harden has had good teams.
Teams should win.
Harden has it.
Yeah, I don't agree with Rob.
Harden
Morgan.
has had
I don't
good
agree
teams.
with Rob.
They've been okay, but Harden has made them
They've been okay.
without take James Harden off the team. Wait,
Don't do that because
no,
that'll hurt
because-
you in the Jordan LeBron
No,
argument. Because you take LeBron off his
No,
team,
because
they
time
terrible. So you
out.
can't
Time out.
do
No,
that.
wait, because like I told
And you took
Jordan
Jordan off the Bulls, they won 55
and
games, so
never
you
made it
can't
back
do
to the
that.
conference finals. So I told you what it was. See, Jordan set the bar so high you can do
But
the
I'm saying,
season.
don't do
no,
that.
we can go the season, bro.
Well, he was only gone 2
Chris
years.
Paul, yeah, Chris Paul is carrying right now. Chris Paul balling.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. Look at the Thunder.
The Thunder.
That's the next topic.
You didn't even have them in the playoffs.
I
start
said
the
they would be
season.
fighting for the HC. They would be.
But Rod, they got better record than the Rockets right now.
Okay, and
I'm
like
doing okay.
And he don't have another MVP on his team.
what MVP do? Oh, Westbrook.
Westbrook averaged
He don't have
27.
an MVP on his team. Chris Paul never won an MVP in the first place. And don't act like that's what I'm trying to tell y'all. Like now, y'all want to try to act like OKC. Steven Adams was there last year with Paul George, who y'all give so much credit to.
Paul George?
Russell Westbrook, and that's what I'm saying. The Thunder nucleus pieces are still there. Really,
No,
Steven Adams.
just Steven Adams. They didn't have Shea last
Roberson
year.
coming back.
Robinson back. They didn't have Gallinari last year. Yeah, the Thunder a little different.
A little different. My Gallinari. And
No,
Shea
Chris
is
Paul's
better
earning
than-
his bag this year for sure.
Chris Paul, yeah. You're not
earning
going
his
to
back,
Rod.
yeah.
Rod ain't getting no lot. Rod ain't even doing nothing. He making excuses for Houston.
Houston's philosophy is that a big gets in their way of their offense.
Rod ain't doing nothing.
Yeah, D'Antoni's too one-dimensional. He's
That's what I'm saying.
But I blame Harden too. If you the best player, you got to learn how to adjust. Harden does not know
Adjusting
how
with
to
a bunch of
adjust.
midgets.
When teams double team and they start to pout, you can't pout. You get double
What do you
team,
mean?
you
Talking about they've been
unstoppable.
winning. It's not about the pound. It's about getting your head beat on the boards. 38-13.
To
40
be honest, I really do.
50-20.
Harden and Westbrook, I
Right.
think they like playing small. To be honest, because the floor is so open.
I
And
agree in
nobody
that
can
sense,
guard them one on one.
but it's
Nobody
not-
can guard Harden.
You're not going to win a championship doing that. I don't
Yeah.
believe you can.
Especially
Their
when you're a
best chance
team,
is 18.
Hey,
especially
Rod,
when
the
you're a team
Bulls
that doesn't even play defense
That's
like that in the first place.
same conference finals without Jordan that Boston.
No, they didn't get to the conference
They
finals.
did get to the conference finals, Morgan. First off, why you sounding stupid? And
Bulls lost in the
Kyrie,
second round.
and
They
like
lost
I
in the
said,
second round.
Morgan, the argument with Jordan is the same with Kyrie. Rod ain't doing nothing.
Yeah, Ron ain't even doing nothing. That's what I'm
Rod
saying.
ain't, no, Anthony copying you, and Rod ain't doing
No, I'm
nothing.
saying, but you ain't doing nothing.
Y'all ain't doing nothing.
I know he put it in quotations, but you ain't.
Because you ain't spitting facts. You spit.
No, you make excuses about the team and
talking about some. What did Curry do this year when he had to do with James Harden? Because don't bring up the fact that
why you bring up Curry?
Because,
That's
hold on,
you
bring
just
up
said
the fact
Curry
that-
led the team to the championship.
And 15. We talking about now. Apple just brought. We talking about now. Bring up the fact that Chris Paul and Capella missed a third of the season last year. You ain't bringing that up, and the Rockets still won 54 games. Bring that up.
So
Bring
how do you
that
have
up.
a garbage team and win 54
Because
games?
of him. Because of James Harden. Because that's how much of a tail leader he is. That's what he did. If James Harden is off
I
the
don't
Rockets,
agree with that.
they are a lottery team. If he missed the season, if like Chris Paul, dude, they are
That's a
fighting.
majority of
Was the
teams.
Bulls weak?
That's not majority
Was the
of
Bulls
teams.
weak? Because you said the Bulls was weak without Jordan.
The Bulls was weak.
They
without
won a lottery
Jordan.
team without Jordan.
The Knicks can never beat the Bulls without Jordan. What they do?
But I'm saying,
What they do?
what you're basically saying.
And what the Bulls was weak. What they do the next year? Can you tell?
But we
the
talking about
fans-
what they do
no,
without him.
It was 2 years without Jordan. Tell the truth. What happened the
They
next
was
year?
worse the second year.
No,
What I'm saying,
tell
your argument.
about the whole. So
You
Well,
made-
Hakeem was killing it.
we're
that
not talking
2 year
about
stretch.
Hakeem. We talking about
No,
the
you
Bulls
said
that-
well, who beat them?
No. The Knicks beat them.
The Knicks beat the
I'm
Bulls.
talking about who won the championship those 2 years.
The Rockets, but they didn't beat the Bulls.
That's
They
not
beat the
my. Of
Knicks.
course, I wouldn't even in
And
the
the
same
Magic.
conference.
But I'm just saying, talk about the Bulls being 34-31 the next year without Jordan. Why don't people bring that up? Because they want to bring up that Michael Jordan left a championship team. It's like when Patrick Mahomes got hurt last year. That bum backup quarterback. I'm
The
saying,
reason I brought the Bulls
no,
up.
time out. I'm about to tell you, championship teams are different, Mike. What was the
That's a
bum?
good point.
Matt
That's a good
Moore
point.
Matt Moore
I
won
agree.
some games last year with the Chiefs. That was a championship roster, and he won some games. And Matt Moore had been in the NFL in 2 years. When you play with championship type of talent, you can put
That's a
an
good
okay
point. That's a
person
good
around
point.
it. The Bulls was championship talent built by Michael Jordan, the GOAT. And then the next year, when teams were like, we're not going to take the Bulls lightly because they still got that championship, or they was 34-31, and they was crying for Michael Jordan to come back, and they was weak as hell. They was 13-4, and that's what would happen to the Rockets if James Harden got hurt. Look what James Harden do right now without Westbrook or the Lakers. And the
LeBron
best-
ain't playing.
He's not the best player on the Lakers right now. AD is that. The two of the best players is there. And like I told y'all, if they play the Lakers in their series, Harden's going to be the best player in that series. He's a big player right now. AD is right now. What did AD do with the Pelicans versus James Harden? What did AD do
I don't
with the
even think
Pelicans versus
anybody
Harden?
can hear you.
What did AD used to do with the Pelicans versus James Harden, Mike? Harden will be the
Right,
best player in that
I don't
series.
like that team.
James
People
Harden will
ain't
be
got
the
a
best
team
player
and
in that
stuff like-
series by far. It's just he's not going to beat the
But why
Lakers.
did the Wizards with Jordan? Damn, Mike trying to get dead.
How many games Pippen win when Jordan was gone?
How many games Pippen won when Jordan was gone?
What, Morgan?
Oh, 55?
What about the
first
next
season.
year?
Yeah, the first season. The next year, Pippen was struggling.
Okay, since y'all
And
want
then talk about 94 with
Well, he
Kukoc.
was also hurt.
Kukoc hit the
since
game
y'all
winner.
want to do this, okay, 34 plus 31 is 65. 65 plus 82. I'm gonna get a little math
17.
lessons. 147. In 147 games off Michael Jordan, the Bulls was what? 34 and 55. That's what? 89 games. 31 and what? 27 losses. There was 89 and 58. That's not that good of a record. Without Michael Jordan, it was 89 and 58. So stop acting like they was
89
good.
and 58 is 67% of your fucking games.
No, that's not Oppo.
89.
And 58.
Let me do this.
I mean, that is a
I'm
winning
just-
record. That is a winning record. It is
Hold
a
on, I'm just
50%.
doing some random math.
That's 31.
89 plus 58. 89 divided by 147. 60%. I said 67. Okay, I was a little
60%
bit.
of their games.
To me,
but
the
when Jordan
94
was there, 72
only reason I
and 10,
bring it up-
62 and 20, 69 and 13. That's what I'm saying. Oppo, it's a big difference.
Well, yes, he's incrementally going to improve the team, but they won't.
And that's what James Harden's going to do. The Rockets will be, but the Rockets ain't the Bulls. Without the Rockets, the best scorer, or not the best player, James Harden's the best player on the Rockets. He wasn't only the best scorer, Mike, he was the best
He's talking about the
passer.
league, I think.
James Harden was the best player on the Rockets. And if you take him off the Rockets, they are going to get instrumentally weaker.
Yes, you
But if you
literally just said that. He's
Of
the
course.
best player
But
on
when
the
you took
Rockets.
KD off of the Warriors, they still went to the finals last year without KD.
Well, they went to the finals before they had him anyway.
But that's what.
But I'm saying, was the Bulls stacked? That's why it's because they went to second round.
No, it's not about being stacked.
Because you say the Bulls is trash. You be saying Jordan supporting cast is trash.
It's not about being stacked for the Rockets.
There's no way in
against
hell
the Rockets.
Jordan's supporting cast.
That's what I be telling Rod. Like, what? They wasn't trash. They was
What?
overrated, but they wasn't trash.
They wasn't.
And they won 55 without him.
When I say, I don't mean trash like
That's
that.
why I bring that
I
up.
don't mean trash like they was trash like who's the worst team in the league now trash. What I'm telling you is if you look at Michael Jordan's roster, it was like the 9th or the 10th best team in the league. Like, I'm talking about roster-wise.
That's not
And then
true.
Jordan just propelled it. Yes, it was true. Luke Longley. Oh, my God.
Actually,
Luke
that
Longley,
is
George
true
Bush.
because if you
No,
look at
96.
Wait, you want to know? Hey, let me actually say this, and actually to prove your point.
97,
No,
98, he's
I'm
right. 96, he's not.
Let me prove his
They
point.
had 3 players
Let
make
me-
All-NBA
yeah,
first team
let me-
defense.
Because
Hey,
of
hold on.
Williams,
Let me
Williams
prove.
do that.
Let me prove his point real quick. You know how he tries to say that LeBron never had a team? Well, that LeBron team actually has better stats than that Jordan team that you're talking about right
And I
now.
show him Mike Miller. And
That
Joe
Jordan
Wilson,
team that
25
literally.
Oh,
that
wait.
LeBron-
No. LeBron had stacked teams in the Heat.
No, that's what I'm saying. He always tries to say LeBron never had good teams.
I always say LeBron.
No, he said LeBron have good teams.
Ever
Yeah.
since he went
No,
to,
LeBron said
after,
LeBron always
after
had
he left
stacked teams.
Cleveland, his team
Because
was better
Jordan's
the last
teams
10 years.
statistically weren't that
LeBron has
good.
always had. LeBron has had more stacked teams
I'm
than
actually
Jordan.
Oh, for sure.
Yes.
In game
Easily.
six, in game six,
Easily,
in
he
game
has
6
had
and
more stacked
98,
teams than
don't
Jordan.
just bring up 98 and 97. We're talking about Jordan's teams in Jordan because 91, 92, 93, I can find stuff like this too. But in 98, because in 93, we'll go to that, they scored 12 points in the fourth quarter. How many did Jordan score?
What you talking about?
They scored 12 points in the...
Oh, you talking about 93? Oh, yeah, Jordan had 9, and they scored 12.
And folks, look.
How many times can you
Hold on,
say
time
this
out.
happened?
Folks, wait, hold on. Let me tell you this. He said they scored 12 points, Jordan scored 9. I'm going to give y'all the difference between when I'm talking about teams and all this because LeBron team scored 12 points versus the Warriors at 15 in the fourth quarter. LeBron hit 0. They gonna stop 21. Jordan scored 9. There's different type of context for different type of stuff.
now
But
you
want to see it act like teams, and that's what I'm talking
LeBron
about.
is definitely
See, I
not
like
even in
when
the
he
same
goes somewhere
caliber as
different.
No,
Jordan.
not
But you
because
go
it's hard
somewhere
to
different, so it's
play.
like-
If hard to play with Giannis and KD right now, he would win a ring. Now it's
See,
my
I
point.
don't like you making excuses for him to me. Like,
excuse.
I don't like the
Bro,
ifs he
ultimately
played
you have
with
to win
this
with what you
man. Like,
have.
That's stupid.
How
Yeah,
did-
you play what you
How
got.
did
You make
KD
it
win
what
a
you
ring? How
have.
did KD win a ring?
We're not. Everybody knows KD jumped ship. That isn't the
LeBron
same
just
thing
should be doing,
here.
but they won though.
KD's team was stacked that he was on.
It wasn't stacked, but he had a good team, a good enough.
What do you mean? He was that year that before he jumped ship.
He had a
they
good
were gonna
team.
beat Golden
But
State.
his team wasn't stacked, but he had a good team. That's how the Lakers are to me.
Man,
They're not stacked,
when I
they
say
got a good
stacked, if you're a top 5 team in the NBA, you're stacked. They were a top 5 team.
That's
that
not
year.
true though.
Well, to me, the stacked team in the league this
Okay,
year is the
so-
Lakers and Clippers.
They
Those
got-
are the stacked
They
teams.
got
the
good
Lakers and
teams. They got
Clippers.
good teams.
Those are the stacked teams in the league. There's only 2 stacked teams this year in the league. Lakers, Clippers. They're stacked.
They got. You think the Bucks stacked? Because they
no,
the
the
best
Bucks
team in the
aren't
league.
stacked.
But he just
But
said.
my point
But
is,
he just said
that's
a
why
top.
Giannis is the MVP.
He just said a top 5
My
team.
point
You're a
is,
stacked
no,
team.
my point is,
In
without
my
Giannis,
opinion, if you're gonna say teams are stacked, it would have to be the top 5 teams.
well, the Bucks aren't stacked
Because
without
you have-
Giannis. The Bucks would not be
In every
successful.
league, it doesn't matter. Even regardless in a subpar league, you're still gonna have elite teams, average teams, and subpar teams. So in those elite teams, those are the teams that I'm talking about are stacked, and they're considered in that tier, right?
The elite team. Well, the Bucks are not. They're elite because of Giannis. That is my point, y'all. The Giannis makes them this elite. Without Giannis at this keeper, what I'm saying is this. Okay, look. Giannis leaves. The Bucks are
So, again,
not
you
that
just
good.
put
No, he had the
Kawhi
Bucks to
leaves.
make. No, Kawhi left in the Raptors.
Paul
Second in the league.
George. Paul George is there.
No, I'm talking about the Raptors. So you used to say the Raptors were weak without Kawhi. They almost got the best.
And you
record in the
actually
league.
also said when I said that
Wait
you
till
take
playoffs,
no,
you watch
because
Clay.
remember
To
how he was
me,
trying to say
I don't
that.
care if the
No,
team is
remember
weak
how-
without the best
no,
player.
remember how
That
he
doesn't-
was-
I don't know.
No, you were trying to say that Harden taking Harden off that team when I was like, oh, that's any team. You're like, no, that's not. Well, you just proved it because if you take Giannis off, based off of what you just said, the Bucks
I
wouldn't be
admit
that
Bucks-
good.
no, the
That's
Bucks
why
make the
Giannis
playoffs.
is the MVP. To me, the Bucks are not. That's why I think the Heat are going to beat them.
Was the
Because-
Raptors-
But I'm
the
not
Bucks
talking
don't
about
get
in
as
that
much
sense.
depth.
I'm talking about one player being
I'm
that
saying-
instrumental where
Giannis
you
is
take
that
them
much
out.
instrumental to the
Yes,
Bucks.
and that's
I've
how a
already
lot
said
of
that.
core teams are.
But
You
Rob-
do the exact same thing with
Not
the
with
Rockets.
Lakers.
But Rob, people thought the
Take
Raptors was
LeBron
going to be a
out.
lottery
AD
team
is
this year.
here.
They're not a championship team without LeBron. Not
They're
at
without
all.
AD either.
LeBron's the one that opens up the entire
I'm
floor
just
for
saying, without AD,
AD.
they not. If you
Huh?
pull up, you can keep
The
them
Nuggets
on the
are
team.
low-key
They
stacked.
need each other, but I'm saying if you take LeBron off the Lakers or Kawhi off the Clippers,
They're still a top 4 team.
The Clippers was in the playoffs last year without Kawhi, with their nucleus with Montrezl.
Yeah, and I think the
Harrell,
Lakers without LeBron or one of them without AD would be a 48-50 win team.
40, 45.
You're sick, dude.
But what if a team do win like 55 games without the best player?
And
What does
it's
that?
not
What does that mean for that
that-
team?
that could mean they have a lot of cohesion.
Does that mean that team's stacked? Because to me, that don't mean the team's stacked.
The
No,
Nuggets,
that could be. That means they play well
Albert
together.
said
They
the
have
Nuggets
good
are low
chemistry.
stacked. What I'm saying is this: I'm not saying that the Rockets. I'm saying the Rockets team is bad based on.
But
the
to me,
personnel.
I don't care
the
about that.
personnel makes them bad.
To me,
PJ
if the
Tucker
best player
is-
leader team and the team is bad, what does that mean?
6'5"
That don't mean he didn't have help.
/ power forward. That's not.
The system just evolved around that player like LeBron
I'm
when he
saying
leaves team.
PJ Tucker's a 6'5" center / power forward. That is not conducive.
No, he's like a hybrid. I don't even know what the hell you
No,
call
but that's what
somebody
he's
like that.
playing right now. That's my point, Apple. That's what
Yes,
he's playing.
that's coaching. That's personnel foolishness.
So that's what I'm saying why the Rockets. Is
Like
not-
to me, the Raptors, they roll without Kawhi still. They got
Oh,
the second
for
best
sure.
player in
They
the
have
league, but
cohesion.
to me, that don't.
And they want to ship together. Imagine the type of chemistry that builds.
And
You
my
know
point
that you
is,
can
to me,
trust
that
this
don't mean
person to
Kawhi.
hit a
That don't
shot.
mean Kawhi wasn't raw. And
No,
still
because
don't
you're going to
most
see
of
the
the
difference
credit.
that the Raptors aren't going to go back to another championship because Kawhi's not there. They can look
But
good
I'm
right
saying,
now.
but you say if a best player leave a team and they suck, that they had no
They're
help.
going to get worse.
But
is
to
my
me,
point.
what if a best player leave a team and they win like 50 games? What does that mean?
Well,
Or
to me,
the
they gotta win.
offense just ran through them.
That's
There's
why Harden
differences.
team suck without him. LeBron team suck without him.
Because there's different things. If if it runs through that player and they leave, well, duh. Not only was that their entire offense, but that offense is gone. If you have a system where, okay, for instance, that's why you look at teams like the Spurs. It doesn't matter, for instance, if Tim Duncan's out or any of those core guys out. They would sit those guys on
They
purpose.
can be good enough
Because
to make
they
the
were
playoffs
good
without
enough.
you, but they're not a
And
championship.
not only that, because you have
Yes.
to think about it, you just need to be incrementally better than the rest of the league in those cases, and then you play your good
Playoffs is what matters. Y'all talking about the season. I'm talking
But
about
teams,
the
I'm
playoffs.
talking about in
teams can make
general.
playoffs without the
Well,
best
the
player.
Spurs wasn't doing that in the playoffs. They was doing that in the season.
Exactly.
Well, they can
Well,
make
how
the
the hell
playoffs.
do you think they had fresh legs a lot of the times in the playoffs?
I'm just saying, but don't give me that the Spurs, because look at them now.
No, I'm just telling you that when you make this analogy that, oh, it's because the player left that the team's bad. Well, no, it's because
Not
literally,
all the time.
no.
What if
If
they
you
do
look
good?
at the players that have the most on-ball usage, James Harden is among the top 3. So, of course, if you take him out, everybody else is like, damn, there's
LeBron
actually
too.
a ball here.
LeBron
What the
too, yes.
They're like, oh, damn, now I can actually, the only time they touch the ball is to rebound it to give it to James. And then,
No,
move out the
he can
way.
run the ball more than that because
No, he's been one of the most high usage years.
Joker the
players
best in the
ever.
league, yeah.
How do you put up 36 points and average 12 assists the year, or however many assists they had? I think it was 11. And again,
Yeah, it
I'm
was
not
11.
knocking it for that, but you have to dominate the ball. You're counting for 54 of your team's points every night. He's bringing the ball up, and if he doesn't see anything that he likes, he shoots it. If he does, he gives it away. And again, I'm not trying to generalize his skills, but essentially that's what he's doing.
that's what LeBron does.
So when you take him out, of course, but in a system where he's just a cog now as him in that engine, the engine runs that much better. But even if you take him out, it's still going to be able to get up the hill.
You saying the same thing I'm saying.
That's true, Morgan.
But that's LeBron.
More
That's the same.
opportunities.
You just described LeBron to a T, and that's my point. Where I'm just saying in this question, why Harden Westbrook playoff expectations shouldn't be that much because you just brought up.
They still.
You just brought up the.
Yeah,
They still
I
gotta
already
perform.
said that I don't expect them to do much. I already said that there's 2 dominant teams in
They
the
still
West.
got to perform and try to win the title.
Yeah, like I said, it's
You
not
can't
always
just
gotta
losing.
perform.
It's how you
They gotta
lose.
perform, but I'm telling Mike,
If they lose in 6, if they lose in 4, if they lose
already
in
know
4 or
they
5,
gonna
that's
lose.
tragic.
To show you his standards, he said LeBron had to win in 18, but it's like, okay, who did he have that's good as Westbrook on
What do
his
you mean
team?
as good as Westbrook? What,
I'm talking about Hard. Like you making excuses for Harden, they don't have to win, but you said LeBron had to win the title
he
in
might.
18.
No,
When I
Harden's
say
team.
LeBron had to win, it's like
Harden's team
I
is
didn't
not
say
gonna-
Harden shouldn't win, but LeBron
LeBron-
should
Harden's
win.
team's not going to win just
time.
based off of
You
how
gotta
it's
talk about
configured. Harden's team isn't configured well. It's not configured to match up well with the Lakers
Or the Clippers.
or the Clippers.
The problem is they want
It
to match
literally
the
makes
Warriors. That's their problem. They
It literally makes no
construct the team to beat the Warriors.
They're one-dimensional, and this goes back to the coaching. Mike D'Antoni knows one thing: put up a lot of points, spread the floor.
To
But
me, their play
he's
style is
literally
the problem.
doing what he did. James Harden is just a souped-up Steve Nash. Why do you think if Steve Nash is playing
Steve Nash should put up James Harden's numbers though.
I said a souped-up. Steve Nash dominated the ball as much as James
Yeah,
Harden
but
did.
their system was the Suns system was way different from the Rockets. Rockets played more of an ISO system. Suns didn't play ISO. They shot a lot of threes, but they didn't do an ISO
But in
system.
terms of the amount of time that they held the ball, Steve
It's
Nash
about
held the ball
possessions.
because the thing is like,
and
that's why
LA
you-
did Tony
and
didn't
that's
do.
why
And
you know
LA did Tony didn't do this.
and that's
Just
why
like
you
with
notice,
the Rockets.
and that's why you know those teams put up buckets.
But I'm saying he didn't do it. D'Antoni's style get too much credit. No point guard. A lot of point guards he coached didn't average 36 and 7. Their numbers went up, but
No, but just the style.
The
of play
point
you're
is
saying.
that
the style of play, yeah.
the speed, the
D'Antoni
small ball.
gives you points.
Like how I tried to,
D'Antoni's
how Yo Morgan,
offense
how Yo
gives
Morgan
you-
tried to argue with me that Sean Marion was a power forward, and I said
If
no,
you put James
D'Antoni
Harden
just
on those
did that.
Suns team,
But he never
hey,
was
hold on,
power
I got a
forward.
question for you. You put James Harden on those Suns team with Damari and Sean Marion, do they win?
They'll make a finals low key.
They'll probably go to the finals because Harden could score better than that. That was a problem that Tony Parker used to cook Nash in the playoffs.
Steve Nash should not have more MVPs than Kobe Bryant. That's a travesty.
All right, last NBA topic. CP3. Y'all already been giving this man credit. CP3,
We
how
don't
much
even need to talk
OKC
about
credit
him.
should he get?
I mean, I think like the West is really stacked at the top, and then the rest of it's kind of mediocre, and they're kind of doing a little bit better than mediocre. So they should
They're
get
the
some
4th
credit
seed
for
right
that.
now.
They should get some credit for that because I wouldn't have given them that. I would have probably put them at a 7 or 8 seed at best. So the fact that they've, they're markedly better than that, as you mentioned, they've got a better record than the
Rockets.
So I think you have to give them
Unless
some credit
Rockets win
because
tonight.
it was funny when he decided because his bag was so big that it didn't make sense to go anywhere. So he was kind of forced to stay, but it actually ended up being a better situation because CP3
He won
he
doing the
likes
buyout.
he likes to be like the leader, and now there's really nobody else on that team
Yeah.
who he might clash with. So it works better for him because they probably listen to him a lot more. Where a lot of the times the issue he's had is he's playing with players that are like, all right, man, you're a little bit too short to be talking to me like that. You know what I mean? No offense. But so I think it's just
man, come on all short and diss me. That's crazy.
Motherfuckers had their best season playing Tony. Yeah, that's true.
yeah.
That's kind of true.
Yeah, best seed is not the playoffs, Morgan. That's what matters, not the seed.
They had their best season, but
That's
they ain't
true.
putting up 36 and 7. Nash had his best season, averaging 18.
Mike, what do you got to say about your guy, Chris Paul?
Chris Paul, he shouldn't get all the credit like ESPN stuff trying to give him, but he definitely should get a lot of credit. Shea should get a little bit more
Jason,
credit
put me something
because
like
Shea
that.
is probably the best. Shea is the best scorer on the team. Probably
Hey,
you
bro.
could argue the best player, but I definitely think Chris Paul should get most credit. He should get the most credit, but he should
for
get it all.
sure.
But
They
he
won't
should get the
like that
most because
last-
he's leadership, his
I'll give Chris
defense,
Paul season credit. He's a veteran leader.
most credit.
And he gets the credit for being a veteran leader. But
Point guard's the
18
most
and 7
important
is
position
good.
too.
it'll be funny once the playoffs start and they are first one out.
18 and 7, good. No, that's good. Yeah,
I mean,
Well,
for his age, yeah,
They might
and
beat,
his
they might
size.
beat the Jazz.
Thunder can beat the
You
Jazz.
think so?
Yeah. Low key, man.
Not at the beginning, but now.
Thunder gonna get Rockets a scare.
because
They gonna
Steven
get
Adams,
Jazz a
Steven
scare.
Adams could punt Gobert.
True. Steven Adams. Yeah,
He's low key a dog.
he looked like he from Game of Thrones.
And Thunder, man,
Oh,
yeah.
dude. So wait, does OKC success this year? Does it make you kind of drop Westbrook and Paul George?
No, that just makes my point about Harden has had people to play with.
No, they don't drop them because
because what Chris Paul is doing with this team.
I'm baiting you.
what if
No, no, I know, but
what
I'm
if
saying-
Thunder lose in the first round like Westbrook and PG
Well,
did?
I think that's going to happen. I'm just saying, I like the Apple said that because I'm saying, yeah, Chris Paul led team. No offense, Morgan late. But
Oh, well, 'cause it's delayed a
yeah.
little bit.
Well, what I was saying is about the Chris Paul thing. Yeah, he has led them, but like I said, come to playoffs, we're going to see the normal Chris Paul, what he does in the playoffs, which is come up short.
He's not really a
No
choker in
comment.
the playoffs, though. He did choke a couple seasons, but he's not a choker like that.
No, he's just honestly again, he's like an AI. They were good, but they just happen to be too short to actually be able to, because ultimately.
Max Kevin always says shortest player can't be the best player
They can't.
on the team.
No.
You're not gonna win a championship with the shortest player being the best player on your team.
You can't.
Isaiah Thomas really the only one. You can't name
And that's
the
why,
short dude.
honestly, I think Isaiah's probably the second best point guard of all time behind Magic.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people say. I guess you could put Curry in there, short player leading the championship team, but you can't name. a
Well,
lot of
Curry
short
again, a system player, and he had Clay, who's a killer himself.
No, Curry made that system.
What
Curry
about?
made that system.
Well, yeah, he was instrumental in that. He came into the league, a dog.
Yeah, I don't have much to say about that topic anymore. I don't want to talk about CP3 like that. I like
All
to
right,
talk about
let's
winners.
move on. Yeah, me too.
People don't choke.
The Kobe's of the world.
But who is the GOAT quarterback to you? Get
Um,
this out the way. Who's the GOAT?
obviously, it's Tom Brady. Tom Edward Brady, I believe, is the full.
We gonna go for an hour on this one. We just
Yeah.
gonna do 20 on the real talk.
But yeah, Tom Brady is definitely.
Speak of AI. He respect AI, Morgan.
Yeah, no, he's definitely the GOAT to me. I mean, ultimately, to me, it's always about winning.
QB GOAT.
And
he's
So,
personified winning. So.
What do you think about Brady going to Tampa? What do you think is going to
That's
happen
going to be
there?
interesting.
Do you think Tampa has a legit shot at playing the
I
Super
mean,
Bowl
he's
in
got
their
weapons. I mean, Mike Evans, Gronk. I mean, they've got nice. They've got a.
Chris Godwin.
Yeah, they've got. What's the running back's name?
They picked up McCoy.
Yeah, they got McCoy. You talking
Yeah,
about,
no, I like that
no, he
team
went
for
to
Tom.
Chiefs. Howard Air.
Because I'm not under the impression that
I forget
I'm not
what
one of
they
these
were
people
back then.
that's gonna say that I'm not gonna be one of those people that say that Tom Brady's arm's not that good. He just hasn't had weapons, and I think outside of the fact that he didn't want to have to deal with Belichick, and ultimately I think if you win as much as he's won, you don't want anybody saying your success is tied to anybody. So he's gonna want to go out and win it himself. But ultimately, I think he's in a situation where I'm not going to say I think he's going to win it. I actually think that the Patriots actually probably have a better chance of them winning it than the Buccaneers, just based on the conference they're in.
And grabbing Cam Newton.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think the Patriots is.
I mean, I honestly don't even think the football season's going to get that far, but that's another discussion.
Oh wow, I don't even want to hear that.
What did you just say? Say that
You don't
again.
think football
I
season
said I
is
don't
that
think
far.
football season
Oh,
is
yeah.
going to make it all the way through.
Yeah.
I think it will. I'm going to be optimistic if it does. I'm going to be pretty heated. But speaking of quarterbacks, I just had to ask you that because I wanted to know about top quarterbacks, and I know you're a Brady fan, and I know most of us.
I wouldn't consider him a top 10 anymore. I'd probably put him top 10, not top 5.
You mean right now?
Yeah.
Oh, I still got him top 5. I mean, you can't bet against Brady until.
Oh, no, not at all.
So I got him top 5, sadly. But you already know, and they have 3 good tight ends. You already know where I'm rocking with number 18 on Daniel Doe, the sheriff. We're not going to discuss him today on this episode. We're going to leave greatness out of this. But who has more pressure to win a Super Bowl this year? Aaron Rodgers or Drew Brees? Because they both only been to one, and they both only won one.
Mike, take this one.
Man, to be honest, that's a good question. They both get. I'm gonna go Aaron Rodgers because I feel like a lot of people put him up there all time higher than Brees. Like Stephen A. and Max and them, they be saying like the most talented quarterback ever. Well, some of them saying Mahomes, but I think Aaron Rodgers because and like I say, Favre had one. He only got one. I think he needs to leave Green Bay with 2. To me, so I would put it on Aaron Rodgers. I think he has more pressure than Drew Brees to win because I still think a lot of people put him ahead of Brees. Now, I think our clique though, a lot of us got Brees over Rodgers, but to me, Rodgers got the most pressure.
I would say, and again, I'm not going to necessarily disagree with you because I see that point of view. But I would probably have to say Brees for the simple fact that he's had more, and I say this not because that's why your point's valid, but Brees is almost because he's been so close so many times and things have happened, right? Where he should have more than one, right? There's a lot of things. There's more closer scenarios with Brees where he's tasted it and just been
The Vikings, Seahawks,
right.
and Rams. Like,
You know
that's
what I mean?
three.
Where with Aaron Rodgers, he's only really had kind of 1 or 2 stints like that where they were actually.
He been
okay,
to 3 NFC
Well,
championships.
that's what I'm about to say. He
Well,
been more
yeah,
than
but-
he got exposed. Now, you just forget about that. But he's gotten exposed.
Yeah, but I would say.
Oh, that's true. Brees do got an empty MVP trophy case.
What do you,
That's true.
He never won a season.
But
That's
I don't
true.
know. I feel like Breeze to me, people rank Aaron Rodgers higher. I feel like just from the public and Breeze, he's the all-time leader in touchdowns
Well,
and
only
passing
people
yards.
do that's
I'm
'cause of
gonna
Green
say,
Bay
the only
Packers.
reason- The only reason Breeze has more pressure, he's asking this question because Breeze is older. And Breeze's career is going to come to an end sooner.
Breeze
And
41.
Breeze can't end his career with the same amount of Super Bowls as Aaron Rodgers and not go to another one. And Aaron Rodgers will have a
Vikings.
few years to go back to another one. So I would say Breeze by default because of the age thing. But if you ask me, they both on an equal level of pressure.
Yeah, I
Because
wanted to go
I've
with that.
heard people yell out their mouth and say that Aaron Rodgers or Breeze was better than Peyton Manning. And by God, Peyton Manning been to 4 Super Bowls, and them bums only been to 1. And they ain't
Yeah, I
never
wouldn't
been
get
back.
that.
So,
Peyton Manning is.
I don't want people to start getting.
He's right there behind Brady.
Yeah, right there behind Brady.
I got him
And
at 2.
the one who watch it right now, Preston Morgan, who's a Chiefs fan, need to watch his mouth.
Put a bag
about
on
Peyton
opposing
Manning.
QB.
Sitting up here talking about the GOAT quarterback of the day. I hope you want to talk about Mahomes.
Morgan, yeah, Breeze fucked up.
Well, not really. Breeze ain't shit unless you put a bag on. Yeah, for real. And then they got Minnesota exposed him last year. So Drew Brees only got a couple years left. He need to start winning now. Father Time is really coming to him, and Aaron Rodgers might be done in Green Bay soon. So I don't know.
No, he just had a
What's
4-year
going on
130.
He might be.
Oh,
done
did he
with
sign
it.
extension?
Last year.
Yeah, and
He
they also
signed-
just drafted him.
So he probably get 1
They also
year.
traded up to draft the first round.
Yeah,
pick.
you know how they always.
I was gonna say Rodgers did have weapons though with Donald Driver, Jordy Nelson.
Yeah, Rodgers has
James Jones.
Rodgers has underachieved
Donald
when it comes
Driver.
to winning.
The Packers had
Yeah.
weapons before. People need
Seattle
to
He's
Fine.
underachieved when
And
it's
Russell
come to
Wilson
winning.
has
For
outplayed
sure.
him in many games, but we're not gonna talk about Russell today.
Russell's one of clutch guys.
Russell Wilson threw an interception on the 1 yard line,
His coach called
His
that.
coach called a bad play.
Thank you, thank
but he still threw a pick
See,
though.
and
You
me
should
and
have
I
called
were
an
talking-
audible though.
Y'all
But he
were-
threw a pick.
Thank you. We didn't
You don't
rehearse
throw a
this.
pick though. Your coach.
I mean, when you're at the
you don't
1 yard
throw-
line, that's the easiest
don't-
spot because there's less
But why
space.
if you don't throw a pick?
You don't throw the ball across the middle. And Pete Carroll called the play.
Imagine if Rodgers
Bobby
or Brady
called
threw a pick on the 1.
No. You
Like,
Well,
come
yeah.
on. Like, come on. That's what I'm saying. If you change the name, people go crazy. If Rodgers or Brady threw a pick on the 1, people ain't about to blame
No,
Belichick.
they
Like,
would.
stop
They
it.
would say, why did Belichick call
Hey, man,
a
it's
crossing
one,
route on the 1 yard line?
And
across
that's
the middle
true,
of the
though.
field?
Tom
Tom
Brady
Brady
has
was-
been to 4 Super Bowls, but he got embarrassed in 1.
and he got and his defense carried him on the second.
So yeah, Morgan right
He
about
was on the
that.
best team. Actually, first off, Morgan is Peyton with a P-E-Y, not P-A-Y. Second of all,
I
he was
love
not
that
on the
is.
best teams. He produced the best offenses, but the Colts was never the best defense until Big Hit Bob came in and got
Whoa,
back.
whoa, whoa, whoa! Okay, who had more weapons in their career, Peyton Manning or Tom Brady?
Peyton, he had Marvin Harrison
At the
and Reggie
beginning of
White.
At the beginning of
Who
half,
else?
Peyton Manning. Tom
Who
was
else?
Walker.
Edric James.
Edric- Oh
Wes
yeah, they had the squad.
Who's
Corey
their
Dillon?
fullback? Who's their
Corey Dillon.
fullback?
Tom
Who's
Brady.
who was
My man said
who's
Corey
their-
Corey Dillon was
Who's
decent.
their
Corey Dillon was
fullback?
better than Corey Dillon was better than any running back. Peyton Manning.
Edric James.
Mike Corey Dillon got the rep with
Bro,
With the
before
Bengals, with the
before
Bengals.
Tom Brady had Randy Moss,
Cincinnati.
his best wide receiver was Deion Branch.
I said-
Literally, Deion Branch.
That's all he said.
And he
They
only
both
broke 1,000 once.
But he had Wes Walker, Randy Moss, Gronk.
Hey, man,
He
Yeah,
made
Wes
those guys.
Hey man, he had Wes Rucker.
After
he
Brady
made
had-
those
he
guys.
followed Brady.
Brady made those
He didn't make
guys.
Moss stop it. He never.
He didn't make
I
Moss.
s- no, duh. What?
Yeah,
Come on now.
Gronk.
I'm
Did
talking
Peyton Manning
about
not make the
before-
Barry Thomas, Julius Thomas, Eric Decker get all them contracts? Because what have they done since
He
Peyton
made
Manning?
Julius Thomas.
What has Eric Decker done since Peyton Manning?
No, my
He's
point is
retired and
that-
he's only 31.
Okay, so
Eric
answer
Decker's
the question.
retired.
Peyton Manning has obviously had more weapons, right?
No.
What?
Peyton Manning had more
They're about
weapons in
even.
his career than
Stop
Tom
producing
Brady.
the best
More
offensive
interceptions?
player.
More weapons
Yeah, he had.
offensively.
He stopped.
Morgan,
Yeah.
Carroll ain't throw the pick. Russell
Peyton
didn't have the
Manning.
control.
Russell didn't have the
Manning
control.
Brady.
Manning and Brady. had
Shouts
the
out to
control.
Joe for those facts. Because
Okay,
Russell
but if they
Wilson
still
didn't
threw
have
a
the control.
pick, you would kill him.
Is
No.
that
Throw a pick on the
speculation? We don't know that though. Because if
Ooh,
you're the
Peyton Manning
quarterback,
did have Russell Fall. Didn't he?
and
No, he never played Marshall.
Oh, he never
They
played with
traded
him. Yeah,
Marshall
yeah,
Faulk.
yeah.
yeah, he
Morgan,
played for the Rams.
stop! Morgan, stop
He played for
spinning
the
stuff
Colts.
that's
He
not
played for the
true.
Colts.
Stop spinning stuff that's not true, Morgan. Because that's why they had to give up Marshall Faulk.
Edgerrin James was better than Corey Dillon from a stats perspective.
Oh my God.
I think
Corey Dillon was a
Marshall Falk
monster.
did play with Peyton Manning 1 year. Marshall Falk did play with
He
Peyton
did play
Manning.
with him.
He did. Marshall Falk did play with
Rookie
Peyton
Peyton
Manning.
Manning, if he did, I swear, man.
Tom Brady did not have more weapons at all.
Tom
He
Brady,
made it-
I don't care about the weapon shit. Tom Brady way better than Peyton
Oh,
Manning.
God, that-
Easily,
Way better.
yes.
Imagine if he
What's
had
his
those
record versus
weapons.
Peyton Manning in the NFC Championship game?
Bruh,
What? I just answered the question, Mike. Damn, answer the question.
what is
to
it?
people.
In the AFC Championship game, 1 and 3?
1-3.
Tom Brady got 6 Super Bowls. Peyton Manning got 2.
Games when a game when Morgan talking about playoffs, the games are going to line for a Super Bowl. Tom Brady's
Tom
1-3 versus him.
Tom Brady triple him.
Tom Brady's 1-3
Super
versus
Bowl.
the NFC Championship.
Tom Brady
game.
Why
got
you bring that
7.
up?
I'm just bringing
Michael Jordan on 2 against Larry Bird, but that don't mean he to go.
in conference finals.
No.
Bro, you know Tom Brady's better than that. Even
Wait, why you
discussion.
bring up? Why you bring all the playoff records though?
Oh, wait, but bring up Peyton Manning also being with a messed up neck after missing 7 games a year, and he outplayed Brady and went to the last Super Bowl and won it.
Has Brady ever got embarrassed in the
Super Bowl
finals?
50.
In the Super Bowl, has Brady ever got embarrassed in the Super Bowl?
Well, losing to Eli twice, that's kind of embarrassing.
No, those plays were fucking
Edric going
lucky.
into the Hall of Fame, losing to Eli's kind of embarrassing. Edric
Edgerrin is going to the Hall of
But
Fame.
I losing 43 to 8 is
Wait, Mike, don't
embarrassing.
Corey Dillon got the record for most rushing yards in the game?
Adrian Peterson got it.
Mm.
Corey Dillon had it.
Corey
No,
Dillon
he didn't have
and
it.
that's who-
No, it was a dude from
Jamal Lewis.
Dickerson
Jamal
had
Lewis.
it.
It was Eric Dickerson, Walter Payton, Corey
AP.
Dillon. Corey Dillon beat Walter Payton.
Corey Dillon.
Jamal Lewis
Y'all
beat
got Corey Dillon messed
yeah.
up. He said Corey Dillon. Look up Corey Dillon stats versus Edgerrin James
Bro,
stats.
Corey Dillon never ran for over 2,000 and 1,000
Edgerrin
back-to-back
James never
years.
did neither.
Are you kidding me?
Edgerrin James ran for 2,000 yards where?
On purpose?
You
He was
mean-
an all-purpose player
you mean
anyway.
receiver? Oh, do you mean how much he fumbled too?
How many
right?
play-action shit did they run?
Tom Brady, the best system
Wait,
quarterback.
hold on. Andrew James better than I give him credit for.
He is?
3, 4, 5,
5, 6, 7.
He got 7,000 yard
He's
season.
exactly. Edgerrin James is
and
His
good.
rookie year, he was for 1,500 and
Boom,
1,700 his
that's what I'm
second
talking
year.
about.
Like, Edgerrin James
Edgerrin
was weak.
James was
Look
getting
up Corey
off.
Dillon. Now look up Corey
7
Dillon.
years with 1,000.
But not with all with Peyton Manning.
No,
Arizona
I know you
niggas.
also
Arizona.
got no. And look up that fullback they had.
But his
too.
first 2 years, he's rushed over 15 yards both years.
Look at the running back they
Okay,
had.
so did
look
Jordan
at the-
Howard from the Bears,
Look at
Mike.
the fullback
But
they
nobody
had.
talk about Jordan Howard.
4, 5, 6.
Corey Dillon got 6,000 yards, but he never rushed over 1,500.
But
Andrew
I'm
James
saying-
did that his first 2 years.
What about yards per carry, Corey Dillon?
Oh, now he's going to do yards per
I'm
carry.
saying,
Right.
He
Now he's going to do yards per
Corey
carry.
Dillon raw. He just
And y'all see how he
Andrew James.
changing it? He
He's
want to
better
do
than
yards per
Andrew
carry now.
Andrew James used to be a fumble machine. He
No,
used to
look
fumble a
up.
lot.
Well, hey, what's the name of that
Hell
fullback
no.
they used to have on
Y'all
the?
said yards per
And
carry.
like,
What's the name of that
it's easy,
fullback
like,
they
it was
used to have
easy
on the
running the
Colts?
Colts offense. Joseph Adai used to kill
No,
for the Colts.
see, Rod, give him credit. Corey Dillon raw. He just saying, yeah, Andrew James better do. He
And
can't in the
Reggie
league.
Wayne and what's the name was both
Marvin Harrison.
Marvin Harrison was
Wayne.
Reggie Wayne was cold.
Reggie Wayne was over. Look how many 1,000-yard season Reggie Wayne had.
Revis locked Reggie Wayne up.
Shut up, just
A whole side of the field. he
We
couldn't
just
throw
locked
to
up
Reggie.
Moss before. What does that
He
mean?
said we also saw Moss name in one hand when he was also old Moss too. He wasn't even.
Right.
He never locked up Minnesota Moss. Rod don't even know the teams. He fuck with get your man. Morgan, get your shut up,
8,000
Morgan.
yard season.
Reggie
Yeah,
Wayne
Marcus
has
Paul did
8.
play with Peyton Manning.
Hey, say that.
8,000 yards.
Reggie Wayne has 8,000-yard seasons.
Because of
He's not a
Peyton
scrub. My point.
He
He was
did with
a.
Andrew Luck too.
What about when Peyton Manning missed with the neck injury? What
Peyton
did he
Manning
do?
came in '98, right? Yeah,
What
Peyton
did-
Manning came.
what
He
did Reggie
played.
Wayne-
He played with.
what did Reggie-
He played
And they
with.
went 3-13. Oppo looking like Lakers.
But I'm
assistant
saying he had a
coach.
squad.
That's
Yeah,
Prince. Yeah, that's Prince. Yeah. This dude talking about I don't know. Edgerrin James, like I said, I remember he used to fumble. I remember Teddy Bruschi took the ball from him on the 1 yard line, snatched it out of his hands. I remember that. And when nobody snatched out of Corey Dillon's hands like that, I remember Edgerrin James never showed up in the
Bro, I
playoff
bring up
games.
one game.
Edgerrin James never showed up when they counted. When we needed the short chunk yards, Edgerrin James would not show up. He never
But
could
you
get
bring
tough
up
yards.
one game. He rushed
Edgerrin James never
275
could
yards.
get tough yards. Corey Dillon was a tough runner.
Right, he came into the league over 1,500 yards, then 1,700
That's
his second year.
Edgerrin.
Then he had
Corey
Lawrence
Dillon
Maroney,
never did
Lawrence
1,500.
Maroney and Marion Barber at the U of M.
He
They U
said
of M
Lawrence
legends.
Maroney.
They U of M.
Just because you look like Lawrence
That was
Maroney,
a-
you said Lawrence
That was the
Maroney.
last. You forget that.
1,500 and 1,700 yards.
His first 2
They
years,
was
like,
9
stop
and, the
it.
U of M was 9-3 with Lawrence Maroney and Marion Barber. That was the last
Nah,
time they
don't
was
change the
good.
topic. We're making the point that Payne's had more weapons.
He's made more.
But
weapons.
we're not even going to make that argument. Brady's
He's
better
made
than
more
Manning.
weapons. Dallas
Next
Clark-
topic, Brady's better.
When Peyton was out, I was the fucking QB. Shut your ass up.
Peyton
was
raw
cold.
as fuck.
Did it
I
for
got him
two
number
teams.
2.
Did it for
Peyton
two teams.
raw.
I'm just saying. What did Edgerrin
Hey,
James
bro.
do without Peyton?
Edgerrin James rushed over 1,000 yards without Peyton too,
Okay.
with the Cardinals.
Yep.
Like, Edgerrin better than Corey Dillon, dude. Just stop it.
I don't think so.
Now, Peyton never had a Moss.
Can you give me the iPhone charger?
Yeah, Moss. Yeah, he never hit a Moss. Moss.
But Marvin Harrison and Reggie Wayne were all.
Stop. Marvin Harrison wasn't even better than T.O. Talking about he got into the Hall of Fame.
No, he ain't been in T.O., but neither
But
one of them
he
had
was the first
T.O.
ballot Hall of Fame. I'm saying he was the first ballot Hall of Fame. So
Well, we
Marvin
know
Harrison
the
stats
NFL
wasn't
played
low.
T.O.
Marvin Harrison.
Yeah, there was also.
We
I'm
know he
saying-
played T.O., so.
I'm just saying
That
Peyton
was
weapons
politics.
get
Yeah, that was
Peyton
politics.
weapons get credit, but Peyton they get the credit because of Peyton made them that good. Except for Marvin Harrison. Reggie Wayne was that great because I'm saying he would have never been.
Rob be
that great
trying
on
to
another team.
downplay people for his favorite players. I hate when you do that.
No.
Stop trying to downplay him.
Reggie Wayne would
Like,
have
you
never been
trying
as
to
great as he was. without that.
Edgerrin James ain't raw. 15 and 17
Yeah,
when
you
coming
lost
to the
it.
league.
You lost
And
it.
Corey Dillon didn't
No,
even
look
hit
at the type of
1,500
offense he
yards.
played on. No, Edgerrin James was not raw to me like that. When you cannot get short yards,
Hey, you're the.
when we're 33 or 2nd and 3 and he cannot move to 6 constantly and Peyton Manning had to throw the ball 40 to 50
See, now
times.
he went to search specific.
Now-
No, I'm not
It
going to
doesn't
search
matter. That's what I'm
specific.
saying.
I'm not
like,
going. It's easy to get 15 running yards when you're running out of the
when Rob
shotgun.
debate plays,
out of
he'll
the
just bring
draw.
up the stats.
I'm
He
saying-
wouldn't care about the little
No, it's not the
extra stuff.
stats.
No, until the stats don't favor what he got to say.
When
then
stats
it's
don't
no.
favor him, he start
Look
bringing a little
up
extra
Joseph
stuff.
Adai's stats with Peyton Manning. I'm saying look up the Ronnie Hillman and them, Monty Ball, running backs. I'm saying that wasn't that
Peyton
good.
Manning, Stokely, and Collie.
I'm saying look up running backs that wasn't that good with Peyton Manning.
Stokely, that's his name. Look up Stokely's
Brandon
stats as a
Stokely.
fullback.
Peyton did
No,
make him.
Brandon
No, he was a
Stokely was a wide
receiver.
You thinking about Dallas Clark, but Dallas Clark was a tight end. He wasn't a fullback.
He played fullback
The Colts never
sometimes.
He
really-
played
In the
fullback.
backfield sometimes.
No, they used to run that power backfield.
Yeah. No, he played fullback
They used to
sometimes.
run that power backfield,
He
dude.
never played fullback. He just would line up back
He
there.
would line
Not
up back
playing
there. Yeah, he
fullback.
would.
The Colts never had
It
a
don't
fullback.
matter in that offense. That tight end.
Moving
pulls
on
anyway.
to college, because these guys have a college mindset when it comes to telling me about my team. Talking about Kylie. Kylie had concussion injuries left and right because
This
Peyton
guy.
started him up the seam.
Rod is the funniest
And you don't even know,
dude, man.
they don't even know what college Austin Kylie went to, Morgan. So I don't even bring up Austin Kylie, because not many people even know who he is, Morgan, out of BYU. So don't even talk to me about Austin Kylie. They don't know number 17. I put respect on Kylie's name, but don't act like Austin Kylie was all that. You only know about Austin Kylie because of Peyton Manning, Morgan. So stop that bullshit you doing. You have to expose you, man. You need to get on the show, 'cause I'm tired
He
of you,
just
Morgan.
said it.
What happened to the coach in
He
2005?
just gave him credit. He said Peyton Manning made Stokely and Kylie.
That's the whole list.
Don't
No, he
never
made
say
Dallas
fullback
Clark.
without bringing up Mike. Oh yeah, Mike Alstott.
He made
the go
Dallas
fullback.
Clark. He made Dallas
Is that
Clark.
the
He
name
made
of
Reggie
Mike
White.
Alstott played for the Bucks. He didn't play for the Colts.
They never played for the Colts. See, you just want to say you want to say fullback badly right now to discredit Payne. That's what you want to do.
It's not
You're still wild. Since 2006, Oppo been wild, y'all.
Watch another argument. Andrew James would be cold. with
Pac-12,
another
Pac-12 players looking to boycott the Pac-12. They saying they need to be compensated if they're gonna play during COVID. Do you agree with the Pac-12 players? Do you think this have any leverage, or are they just being vagabonds, Oppo? To say your word.
I mean, from a strategy perspective, I don't really see it because they don't have leverage. If they're trying to make a push for people in the future because they have a long-term strategy of kind of sticking it, but you've got to have
But wait, what about leverage? What if they don't play this year? The administrations, they want seasons, and because right now universities is closed, so they're not making revenue. So sports is going to be a revenue. So I really feel like this is the time that they do have leverage, because the administration wants a season, but college football is so dysregulated that
I guess that's one way to
everything's in the
look at
air.
it, but exactly what you just said. These schools don't have as much money, so now they're going to start paying. Granted, the amount
the
of
money's
money.
not coming in. They have money.
Well,
the
yeah,
money's just not
I guess
coming
it could. Yeah, that's one thing about it. But again, I think this is if you do something like this, it's a multi-year type of stand. I don't think they just budge in the first year. That's usually not how negotiations
Well, no.
go.
What about this year because of COVID? They're saying if they want them to play during these conditions, they would have been asking for money. Say if it was status quo, if it was regular, they're asking for being compensated in some form because they want them to play during COVID.
Okay, so
That's
what is the NCAA stance been on that? Do they sound receptive?
Well, they never came to this like Pac-12. Because college football starts at the end of August.
Mhm.
Pac-12, different dude from Washington State, a player from Washington State, and USC was texting other players throughout the Pac-12, like star quarterbacks and players, was saying that they might not play because they don't feel safe with their schools with COVID, and they don't want to play if they're not going to be taken care of.
That's interesting. I think at the least they'll probably all get some type of enhanced insurance. I guess that that's yet to be seen. Do I think they should get played? Obviously, I think that all college. What do I want? Should they get paid? But again, I think if you're the NCAA, once you give up that leverage, it's gone. So I don't know if they want to be doing it this year on the back of having less revenue. I think it's something where they're like, they probably fold their hands anyway. Well, if you guys aren't going to do it, well, we're just because they're not going to make the money on the tickets whether they have the season anyway. They might make it on the TV rights, but still, they're not getting any tickets. They're not getting any concessions and some of that incremental stuff that they usually make tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars from on weekends. And ultimately, if kids aren't in school, they're not going to be making as much money off of tuition. So I think, again, I get your point where it definitely could be an interesting time from a leverage standpoint. But I think, it's kind of like you're holding a gun to somebody who might not have what you think they have in their pocket. So I think that's kind of the argument. But either way, it'll be interesting to see how that shakes out for sure.
What about you, Mike? What you think about the Pac-12?
Man, we'll see if they go through with it. I don't know if they're gonna go through with it, to be honest. If you talking about if they get paid, they're not playing, right?
No, they're saying that first off, they haven't said they want to get paid to play. They're saying right now schools is closed.
Yeah.
They're going to be doing school from social distancing. But then, yet the administration, the school administration wants the football team. Nobody else in school, but they want football players to come back, report, and come to play football games.
Yeah.
The football players are saying, well, if school's not safe, how's it safe for us to play? Well, if we do play, because like NFL,
We should
we'll
get
talk about
paid.
that next.
I
They
get
having
what
an
you're saying.
opt-out period. College don't have an opt-out period. Whereas if you got a scholarship to play, they feel like, oh, you're obligated to play. Well, they're
I
saying
get where they
they're not
coming
gonna
from.
play
Yeah, I get where they coming
in
from.
these conditions if they're not getting some type of compensation. So I know what y'all say. I don't think this is the argument that y'all think it is, where college players like the Fat Five and want to be paid and compensated for the merchandise being sold. I think this might have some leverage because this is something entirely different due to COVID. This might be something in place where, because they're saying they're not like the NFL, where the NFL has, each team has strict protocols. College right now is all over the place. You remember the Big Ten, right now the Big Ten is fighting because they're saying the Big Ten could get fined that if X amount of teams don't play, the Big Ten is going to get fined as a conference because some teams are still up in the air whether they're playing or not. So I think these players have good leverage because right now college football has so much obscurity that you don't know what's going on in college football. So if the administration don't know what's going on and the higher ups don't know what's going on, how do you expect these 18, 19-year-old kids to want to just sit here and play and no fans are going to be there?
Yeah.
No, nothing's going to be there. Yeah, it's going to generate revenue because of the TV deals and all that, but nobody's going to be there. And what I'm saying is they're going out there, and their whole thing is like this. We go to school where there's 20,000 people on this campus, and nobody's on campus, but y'all want us to come play football games on campus, and we have to come back and play, and we don't get nothing extra for it. I really think that they're going to have some type of leverage for this. Now, going forward, I don't know what this is going to do for college athletes, but I don't think the NCAA hand is going to be in the fire if they have to compensate for this. It's going to be like, no, maybe this might get trust back in the NCAA because y'all, like people said, the fact that, and it's exposing the NCAA because now this would bring out the fact that now we got to compensate kids and take care of them and make sure they take care of for making us billions.
They're
and millions
definitely
of dollars.
heading in that direction anyway. I think they came up with a lot.
Yeah, they definitely.
So I
is
mean,
heading
yeah,
in
it could be
direction.
the year that.
But it's crazy
kinda,
that this is what had to happen for it to come up, and that's why we've been talking about this for all summer about all the social injustice stuff with the just being genuine. Like the genuinity and stuff is like it's not there. It's only there because it has to happen. And to me, I don't like stuff that happen that way. That now you're only doing this because your hand is forced. Because
I mean, sometimes that's what it takes.
That is what
if
it
you
takes.
got an advantage, you're not just going to willingly give it up.
Yeah.
That's the point of an advantage is you kind of press it. You know, especially in any type of business where there's revenue being generated.
I get you know the business side.
I mean, I'm just giving you how a capitalist would look at it. Or, again, anyone that kind of just has a profitable business. You know, okay, yeah, you might give something, but you're not just going to start paying people, even though that might be the right thing to do. Again, that's not how I would run it, but the people that run it that way, that's their thinking. You know, is that...
But no, yeah, I'm gonna keep watching that story closely because that's something we're gonna monitor and talk about. But I think they own something there. We almost going on to the real talk section, y'all. We a little bit longer here with a guest on, y'all. Thanks for sticking with us. We appreciate it, y'all. All of the support, all the comments, keep them coming. Keep chiming into the debate. We love it. We love the energy, y'all. So we appreciate it. Oppo, this coming from your team, or your old team. I don't know. I think you still kind of rock with the Patriots. But we just talked about opting out periods, and right now, one of the leaders in like the NFLPA, Devin McCourty. We know he got a twin brother that played for the Patriots too. Devin McCourty is a real outspoken player, usually in a positive light. You know, usually not bashing anything. Usually a real cut clean player. But this week he bashed the NFL and called the NFL a joke because they are trying to move up the opt out period because they've seen players opt out. They're trying to move it up where players have a shorter deadline now to opt out due to COVID. Mm-hmm. Do you think that Devin McCourty had a point in calling the NFL a joke for that, y'all, Mike or Oppo, or do you think that he was kind of overboard for calling him a joke?
I mean, again, I think if you want to look at it from a human perspective, I think he has a point. The NFL, it could be perceived as what they're doing as being,
petty.
And kind of predatory, if you will. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I also understand the fact that, the NFL is a corporation. A corporation that generates billions of dollars a year, and if they don't have a season, those owners that have expenses, and again, the NFL's business might generate money that they use to pay for another business or whatever vulnerabilities they might have financially. Because that's the thing, a lot of these guys might be rich on paper, but their cash flow is not as good as it looks. So the NFL, they literally just get cash. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. The NFL players, they get checks of like, I think sometimes 150, 200 million a year, just in terms of payout in cash. So if you don't have a season, and your expenses are X, and you can't cut them by, So again, I'm saying all that to say this is that I can see their perspective, but I also get the player's perspective. And again, if you're not an owner, then you tend to see things from a different vantage point. But if I own a business, I'm not going to willingly again just stop the season and just stop the bread, especially if this money is gonna cause conflicts or cash flow issues in other businesses I have. You know what I mean?
No, that makes sense.
Because again, this isn't something that they predicted, so they might not be in a position to cut their cash expenses back or whatever it may be. Because a lot of these guys, again, but that's the thing with the NFL. They tend to be a little bit more cutthroat, and just because the way that their deals are structured in general.
Yeah. I agree with Devin McCarthy though. I'm on his side. He right. NFL a joke for that to me. That's I think they're.
I don't think they should move it up, but I think that they should leave it. I think they should have left it where it is, and then go like that. Like I don't like
and
that.
That's what Louis Riddick said. Leave it where it is. And the one thing this is the thing. I agree with McCourty, but then I also, when I was watching First Take the other day, listening to Stephen A. say something, the one thing I do kind of agree with is this. And I don't know about this. I only played football at the young level. I didn't play it at the high school, college, and pro level, of course. But people say how rigorous it is to go into an off season, right? The training camps. You need to be there. You need to have X amount of time. So from that standpoint, I can see why the NFL pushed up the opt-out period because it's like Stephen A. said on First Take. The one thing I do agree with is you don't want to have guys starting training camp or a mini camp and be there for 2 or 3 weeks, say, "Oh, this is not for me," and then they leave, and then now you got to go back to square one and bring a new body in. No, I really do feel like this is the NFL should have kept it at a date, which is it does come back onto for being a joke because I really think the NFL should have had a better union like the NBA. The
NBA is definitely not as good.
The NBA,
the thing is, the NBA's money's a little bit different. Though.
But I'm saying, the decisions is not about the money. What I'm saying is the decisions come like this. You knew that training camp. We know that.
Yeah,
training
like
camp
Alvin said, they haven't had a good plan.
Well, yeah, that's my point. We knew that training camp is a 6-week thing. It usually starts in the middle of July and it goes to the end of August, beginning of September, preseason. We know that that's a 6-week thing. So my point is, COVID's been happening since March. Stuff got shut down. To me, y'all should have been in the lab saying, okay, if the opt-out period is August 22nd, what if that was it normally, make it to August 8th. Because you know because look, they knew before we
get what you're saying.
They knew before we knew that they was going to cancel the whole preseason. Right. So you knew you canceled the whole preseason. So what I'm saying is you could have did other things in place, like Alvin said. And that is the part I agree with Morgan that their joke, and it's not a joke because they're trying to harm the players. Their joke
lack of planning.
Yeah, because of lack of planning is like, who do y'all have if for this $1 billion business that generates so much revenue because NFL does? It's like you would think that they have better planners in place, or that you would at least talk to your players.
What does that say about Goodell?
Well, to me, the NFL,
he is the commissioner.
Well, to me, that says more about the owners of the NFL. Because the owners in the NFL, to me, I think they got the power. They hire Roger Goodell.
Oh, they definitely have
they
the power.
got the power.
I'm saying,
he's just a lackey.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So they hire Roger Goodell. So I feel like all of the stuff the precedents and stuff that Roger Goodell said and all the rules and laws he said, that's just the owners telling him that. So that's what I'm saying. The owners are so discombobulated.
Well, yeah, he can't get that $40 million contract if he don't get their bread.
Yeah.
So maybe if
they probably got something in there in terms of how his contract.
So the one thing I will say in all fairness,
where if he doesn't generate a certain amount of revenue, his revenue probably.
If they gave him a little bit more power, I don't think this would be happening. But I think it happens because the owners.
It's not harder than we think, though. He get the blame or the credit.
But the owners are all on a whole different page, and that's why we're at where we're at now. We're now, because some teams, like, look at New England. New England is the reason they had 8 players opt out in the last week. Dante Hightower, and they had high-profile players opt out. The Chiefs starting guard is opting out. A lot of players, the Bears, y'all defensive tackle.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not doing a fantasy league this year.
You're not?
No.
Yeah, it's going to be
because a lot of players,
too many players are going to be out. There's not going to be enough people in free agency to get.
So, people are opting out.
It's not about the key players. Like,
so, I agree that they are a joke because the planning part is off. The planning is off because they should have had this in place.
Agreed.
And just to get off the NFL because I'm getting sick of talking about them. I'm still sick until they apologize to Kaepernick. They need to get that man a public apology, a press conference apology. That's what they need.
Too much pride.
But AB 8-game suspension.
Too much
Should-
liability.
Should
risk.
AB?
They
Should
gonna
A?
sue their ass.
Should AB? Antonio Brown, aka AB, should he get a second chance?
Amen.
And wait, if he gets a
second,
second chance,
Yeah.
should somebody pick him up now, or would you pick him up
Mike,
now?
take this one.
Yeah, he definitely should get a second chance because to me, he shouldn't have been out of the NFL. For what he should have been out. So yeah, he should get a
She
second
didn't file a
chance.
criminal case. She only filed a civil case.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He should
So
he
she-
should get a second chance.
Yeah,
I
I
agree.
mean, I'm obviously gonna. I don't believe anybody that legendary talent. Like when you talk about 1%
I
of
agree, Mike.
all-time
Michael.
talent,
Is that your guy, Mike?
there's
McGinn?
no way.
Yeah.
No
That's my
way,
man.
no way that should even be a question. To be honest,
Well, yeah, I mean, you see a
He
lot
need
of
to
people
do his
that
8
get hated on
games.
him.
He
So
need
yeah,
to do
he's
his 8
spent
games.
8 games.
And I would pick him up.
AB's the best
That's
receiver
it.
in the league when healthy. So yeah,
you know what I mean. I
definitely
think if he
should
gets
get a
on the Ravens,
If he came back, we can't say that though. He can't have the best receiver card.
well,
no, I
Because he
would
really
say
ain't
he's
played
still
it.
top 3. But the thing is,
No,
I
when
think
he ain't really played.
Well, no, he is until he comes back and proves it. When he comes back and proves it, he will
Yeah.
be because you saw what he did with Brady.
yeah,
in
no,
3
AB
years,
is
2
a
games.
generational
He played one
type
game.
talent.
Oh, one,
And
well,
you'll
that's
see-
even
He had a
worse.
touchdown, like
No,
7 catches, 100-something
Easy-
yards.
easy there, word.
He's not going to be on the. He's not going to be on the market for much longer.
I know Brady was kind of mad.
Yeah,
when he
to me,
left.
somebody should pick him up now, especially if you're on that Super Bowl team.
To do the 8
Because-
grade, the 8 game suspension.
Well, because
the
now
Ravens would
now
be-
he can come
Ooh.
into the facility. He can do everything
Let's
now
start
up until the
practicing.
season. So then he can get the playbook down. He can get his feet wet, so then he can be the AB we know. Then he get his A. We saw him do what Kareem Hunt did last year with the Browns and get on the team.
AB
like
will
that
be back this year.
and take him over the hump.
A team should pick him up, do the 8 games.
I think he gonna.
He'll
need-
get
He
picked
stay
up.
working out.
He'll
He
get
stay
picked up
working out.
because
He
this is
good.
the thing. They know that if they don't get him, somebody else is going to try to get him.
Ravens, Tampa Bay, or San Fran. I think.
And I agree with the NFL owners versus NBA owners, but the thing is that the NFL owners don't have to be as compromising as the NBA owners do, because the same way NBA owner or NBA players dominate a game is the same way they dominate the revenue generation of the league. So when you look at a LeBron and you look at these top NBA players, the NFL they have like a Mahomes, but if Mahomes is out, the NFL is still going to generate hella money. But if LeBron, say for instance, is out for a whole season, that's going to impact the NFL. So the best player in the NFL is mitigated because you got 11 other players that are even active on that team. So you might have a good tight end, a good running back, and a good wide receiver, and then still have on the other side of the ball a couple good defensive players.
Yeah, no, that's
right?
true.
Where
Yeah.
in the NBA, it's like there's 5 players, and the players that generate revenue in the NBA are probably the top 20.
yeah.
That's it. They lift the entire league. When you talk about actual revenue generation,
That's
the
true.
rest of them don't even matter. So in the NBA, they actually have more negotiating power because the NBA is one of the leagues where they could actually go start their own league, and they could get partnerships really quick. If all the top 25 NBA players are like, we want to go start our own league, not only could they probably fund a good majority of that,
The big three, they said the big three might be worth like
they could
100
actually
million,
get
they said.
partnership and venture funding pretty quickly, in my opinion.
Ice
So
Cube
that's
know
why
the
the
beef for
NBA
that.
that's why they got different leverage than NFL players. NFL players, you could do something like
They
that,
do get more leverage.
and you
for
could
sure.
talk like that, and since your money ain't guaranteed, watch what they do to you. Like
That's a good
NBA
point.
money's guaranteed. So that money Mahomes is getting has got so many X and Y's and Z's that looks good on
It
paper,
looks good,
but there's so many
he probably didn't get half that contract.
there's
if
so
he
many
don't meet
covenants
stuff, yeah.
and clauses and
Still
performance.
richer than us. No, I'm just playing.
Oh, of course. But
Yeah, but it's just a different game. There's different negotiating.
All right, well, we're gonna speed this up here, fellas, because we got about 10 minutes left on the air. About 10
Let's go,
minutes
let's
left
go,
on the
Let's
air.
go.
So we like I said, we appreciate y'all. That was the first half of the show. That was the whole show because that was a sports show. That was the sports section. And now we're gonna get into that section that's for everybody. Anybody that's not the sports head, the ladies, all y'all. This the real talk section. So we got Oppo here to guest. Oppo, the real talk section, basically is like current events, stuff that's going on now. We got a new Facebook discussion topics that we discuss, statuses we saw on Facebook, or just stuff that's going on. So kind of like just real stuff, real
Absolutely.
stuff.
Let's go.
So basically our first talk we gonna have is talk about COVID. I saw you posted something about it. We had discussions on there this week on your status. Do you think people should take COVID more serious, or are we lacking on taking COVID
I mean,
serious?
I don't think it matters anymore. Like the window of that actually having a big material impact on what this disease does is already gone. I think now it's just a matter of, and again, I think there's a difference between taking it serious and also just being responsible, right? Like, I cannot believe something, but if I know that it's going to be in the general betterment of the rest of everyone else, I'd probably do it just because it doesn't really take anything away from me. I'm not so stuck on a position. My identity isn't so tied to a position.
I agree.
Where I can't do something that seems practical, even if I don't believe 100% whatever they're telling me, right? So that's kind of how I feel on it. I think that, and again, I've said this on some of the shows that I do as well, it's just that in America, the same thing that makes our country unique is what also makes it detrimental, right? Like, we have so many rights, and we have these, things where, little stuff that shouldn't be that big of a deal, we feel like somebody's trying to infringe on our rights. And again, it's not wrong to feel like that. I'm not going to tell anybody how to feel, but if you look at places like Japan that are all Japanese, they flatten the curve quick. Same thing with Italy. A lot of them are all Italians. So you look at all these countries where a lot of the people are the same. They look at it different because they're trying to like help somebody that they know is of their same. Where in America, it's like, okay, my neighbor might be Chinese and I don't even like people like, or whatever. I think it's a Chinese virus or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's just different.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. That's definitely a good point because I'm like that too. Like you said, it's not that I'm not taking it serious. I'm just not, like you said, with all the information and back and forth.
Like, I don't live in fear,
Yeah,
what I
don't
mean?
live in fear, but like you said, and I never would wear a mask, but they said a mask is better, so I've been wearing my mask, type of deal.
Yeah,
so like
same
you said,
thing.
it's like, it's not something that's going to kill my identity or my pride or nothing. I've been doing it. But I feel like, now at this point, I don't feel like it really matters. We just got to be more responsible. And I feel like people should have been that way in the first place. Washing
Because
your
people
hands,
are dying.
sanitizing
It's
yourself.
not
That was a good answer. It doesn't really matter. But to me, I would say, like, it's 50-50. If you experience it, you take it seriously. If you ain't experienced it, you ain't learned your lesson, really. If you ain't experienced, you really ain't taking it as serious. But if you have experience, you need to get the message out. Like, my husband or like wife or my grandma died from
And again,
this.
there's a lot of
So-
things that go into it. Your immune system, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So again, I think when people listen to this stuff on the news, I think you got to take everything with a grain of salt anyway.
Yeah.
Never 100% believe in, either way what, the news is saying, but, kind of get your information from a bunch of different sources.
Yeah.
It's your time, it's your time. I believe in that, Prince. When
Yeah.
it's your time, it's your time. For real, for real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now that we got off the COVID talk, COVID just walked in here. No, I'm just- now that we got off the COVID talk, let's go to the relationship side. Some for the ladies, you know what I'm saying. But hey, look, this is a good topic because my man Oppo, he like his snow bunnies too. No, I'm just,
This guy's funny.
hey,
I don't even know what he's talking
but-
about. What up, my
I
black
just-
sisters out there?
he said, he don't know what I'm talking about. But do y'all think that if you date interracially, that you lose credibility in your society? So, like, if you're a black man and you date a white woman or got a white wife, can you speak on black topics?
I'll say something quick, then you go.
All right, go ahead.
To me, I'm not gonna say my opinion, but perception-wise, a lot of people, you lose credibility dating outside your race, and a lot of people wouldn't take you serious if you if you was black power, saying all this black power stuff, you was dating outside your race. And even if you vice versa, if you was a white person saying white power stuff, but you brought a black girl home or somewhere, you brought a black guy home and you was white power and stuff, they would look at you crazy. So perception-wise, they definitely look at you crazy. But to me, it just depends on how you do it. It just depends on how you do it. I think you can. You just got to be able to check your partner stuff. Be like, you got to be with this stuff. You got to be able to check your partner, and you can still do the fight because you really can't control it. I don't know. You can't control.
I mean,
it.
I
Go
guess I
ahead.
would say, from my perspective, right? I mean, I got a brother. His wife is white, right? But me personally,
I got a brother too. I got a white wife.
but me personally, I wouldn't. I would prefer to marry black. But again, it doesn't matter because you never know what's going to happen. But I guess I would just say that I don't really think that. Okay, there's a difference.
I understand it for sure.
There's a difference between, like, in my opinion,
I disagree with Dr. Umar.
marrying a white woman because you hate your identity, and still knowing who you are and just having to fall in love with a woman who is white. You know what I'm saying? Now again, if you think that discredits someone, then I think that shows a level of fragility.
I understand
in
it
terms
though.
of-
I understand.
No, I just think in
I
terms of,
understand
like, I don't really think that determines anything. Like, what does that actually determine? So someone who
I
married
hate
black, somebody who married black, but didn't do anything for the black community
Ben Carson.
is better
Ben
than.
Carson married black, and he
Right,
speak against it. Really,
And then
So,
somebody
yeah.
who marries white, but their wife is probably potentially more black than the. So again, I don't want to look at it from those type of like simple kind of layers or whatever. Sometimes you have to, but ultimately, I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Yeah, just be raw with it. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you lose credibility at all. And I got into some debates with a few African American
I
women about
understand
this
it
topic.
though,
No,
because
I
you
don't.
can't
I
be
don't-
like Black Power
Yes,
and
you
stuff,
can.
and
I
then
understand it.
No,
You
I
can
mean
like
I don't think Black
Power.
Power doesn't have anything to do with.
no, I get.
Because then, if that's the case, then everybody's just going to do the stuff that they think makes them look black and not actually get anything done for black
That's
people.
a good point. That's
And
a
my
good point.
thing is,
Because you
Black
have a
Power
lot like
means
that.
Black
Yeah.
Power means
You know
what?
what I mean? Like, oh, I got a black wife. What else is considered black? No, I'm wrong with my.
And- well,
but
and Black
the thing
Power
is,
Ben
is like-
Carson's the
and
perfect
the thing is like,
example.
I don't know. I don't honestly believe in like being soft with anyone. Like when black people are wrong, I'm gonna say black people are wrong, and I don't believe that just because you go against a narrative in certain situations that automatically means that. Because we have this cancel
People call
culture
you
that I'm
cool
really
and
not
stuff.
that I'm not a fan of. Where you have to feel like people feel like you have to say something a certain way, and I'm not built like that anyway. You're not gonna tell me what to
You
say.
could be a coon in a minute.
Huh?
You could be a coon.
Yeah,
just
you
like
can,
that.
but they don't even know your real intentions are, X, Y, Z. So, ultimately,
Terry Crews, he got a mixed wife, but Terry
But
Crews
but
low
look,
key
to
be
me,
on
they
that.
don't mess up your credibility at
He
all.
be on
whatsoever.
BS.
I don't
And
think
I
it
don't
does
see the point
either. I
because
think that's just a
this is the
simple way to
thing.
look at it.
Black Power means that if you for your black people and you want your black people to prosper, you can do that, but who you love and who you lay down with, it has nothing to
If
do
Martin
with
Luther
that.
King go back and
Because
had a white wife, what
you
would you
can
say?
say-
Because there's
If
a lot
Martin
of
Luther King
black
back
people
and
that married black people and didn't do anything
they
for
wife
black
don't got
people.
nothing to do with it.
Farrakhan.
If they marry their
What
wife,
about Farrakhan?
if they married now, if you marry a white woman and then you start letting her shape your values and
Right,
shape
and
your
now you
values,
name your
That's
kid.
what- that's
You
what
start
we
naming your
agree.
kids Tyler
We
and
agree.
Mike.
yeah, and then you change your views, and then
But that's what I said. Is how
and then
you is
change
how
your
you
views,
hold.
Yeah,
Is how you
exactly.
hold
then
your
you change
girl.
your views,
It's
then,
what you do with your
and
wife.
then you change
Right.
your views.
Like
then
you can't change your views.
Well,
to
no,
the
I
white
mean,
view.
she got to take my last name, so
That's
anyway,
what I'm
that
saying.
come with all that.
You have to-
anyway,
yeah,
And then you
That-
change
that's
your,
why I
and then
agree
you
with
change
Rob.
your
I agree
views
with
because of
that.
your stuff. No, and then you start celebrating stuff that she wants to celebrate. And you start doing all this, like what D Wade and Gabrielle, you didn't do to them. Like no,
That's what I'm
and
saying.
they black and they black and black. So no, and that ain't
Zion.
so that.
She punking him.
Man, we
Fuck
don't
him.
even get into that. We don't lose viewers. We get into that. But if they sit over here and they talk about
That's
no,
true.
You
That's
can
a
be,
good
you
point.
can be black and still be for the.
Well, that just
be
comes
for
down
the
to
fight.
masculine and feminine
Because-
energy anyway. You could tell that
Well,
Gabrielle's the dominant one of their relationship.
But look at all these black coons, like you said, Ben Carlson. And I always said, talk about, look at
What-
Dr.
what
Umar,
makes
he
him
talk
a
about
coon
all
to
that.
Dr. Umar said if he don't
Did
give
you
you
hear
no
what
respect.
that fat fuck
Who?
said about Flint, Michigan? Ben Carson. He
What'd
is
he
a
say?
straight
Ben Carson not
coon.
fat.
What did he say?
The fat Congress dude. Yes, he is fat.
No, Ben
No,
Carson
Ben
not fat.
Carson's the head of HUD.
He
No,
not a
what's the
Congress.
fat dude that be on TV? That's the
You talking about Roland Martin?
no, Ron
No,
Martin.
Ron
the
Martin.
You
coon.
talking about Kevin Whitlock?
No, Roland Martin.
I thought Ben Carson was fat.
Roland Martin iffy. Roland Martin iffy.
He is. Ben Carson.
He is.
Ben Carson looked fat from TV. If we talk about the same one,
He does have
Who be-
cheeks like a
Yeah, he-
What
go
you
for
think?
it.
What you think, Alvin?
Go read the spook who said by the door.
I agree with whatever you prefer. Just be raw with it. Like I say, being raw with it is the
That's
best
Prince.
thing.
But what I was about to say, Dr. Umar Alvin, I don't agree with him because Dr. Umar.
I don't agree with a lot of stuff he said too.
Yeah,
I
with
agree
some
with a lot of
stuff,
stuff he say.
I
Not
agree with
this,
some
but I agree
stuff.
with a lot of
I agree
stuff.
with some
Dr. Umar
stuff.
say.
I agree with some stuff,
Yeah, he
but not
too
all the
far
stuff
over
he
it.
say. Like
He be
like,
saying some really extreme.
if you date a white woman, like he just be doing.
I
too
don't
much
believe
like
in
that.
any.
Hey, but people got him with the Frederick Douglass.
So there's this
He
old.
married a white woman. Frederick Douglass married a white woman.
There's this old saying. It's like trust people that are trying to find the light. Don't trust people that said they found it. I don't like people like that try to like define what blackness like.
Yeah, Dr. I don't agree
Yeah,
with
he-
that, but I like Dr.
yeah,
Umar, but
so
I don't
you better
agree.
sit
I don't
down,
agree
man.
with the stuff he said. Yeah.
Yeah, I like him, but yeah, he tripping.
I mean,
on that because
anybody
to me,
that's gonna try to.
as
Yeah.
long as you're in the fight, you can date whoever you want to date. Because, like Apple said, I would prefer my wife to be black, but if she not, because I'm open to dating any other race that vibe that I vibe
Because
with.
think,
but
what
if
you
she
gonna
black,
marry
she
somebody
black.
that's black and then what? Now that automatically is that the act that makes
Tarika,
you
she
know
be
part
showing a
of
lot of
black
stuff.
life?
It be a lot of black women that be married white men, but they be taking their values and stuff. The black women.
What
be
do you
taking
like?
the
What
white
do you
man
feel about
values.
Black Lives Matter?
I think that organization is a piece of shit.
Same here.
I like the slogan though. I like the
well,
slogan.
It's smooth.
I'm not giving them credit.
But
for
I
the
just
slogan.
don't like the fact
The
that
slogan
it's
is
also
organization.
No, the
Separated,
slogan.
though.
The slogan is
That's
something.
separated.
No, it ain't separated. The slogan is something
Organization
that we've
and
been.
then the slogan.
No,
I just
no,
wish
what
the
I'm
slogan-
saying is- No, this is what
I
I'm
think
saying.
the slogan
I feel like-
dilutes the underlying mission.
What I'm saying is, I felt like
They
this.
got an
Why,
agenda.
this is why I felt like.
I know,
This
for
is why I
sure,
felt like.
for sure.
This is why I felt like the white people behind it did the research behind Black Lives, and they saw that we live Black Lives Matter every day. So that's why when this came out, when 2016 Black Lives Matter, when that came out, it just bothered me. It rubbed me the wrong way because since '92, Black Lives Matter to me. Since I've been around,
Yeah.
and every day we live it as kids, and we was taught to grow up.
Well,
it's
see,
like
the
Black
thing
Lives
is
Matter.
like the
and
thing
now they
that-
monetized it.
So the thing is that
Yeah, yeah,
the thing that I don't like about Black Lives Matter is that if you read the mission statement and you see how they say they want to destroy the patriarch and things of that nature, these are things that are actually fundamentally issues in the black community already. We don't have enough. Well, again, I don't want to generalize, but especially during the 80s and 90s and the crack era when a lot of black men went to prison, a lot of the black people being incarcerated literally happened in like a 10 to 15 year period. So you're talking about you want to destroy the patriarchy
Yeah.
when the issue is that there aren't black dads in the home. And actually, if you look at their mission statement, there's a bunch of things where they don't even say anything about men at all.
Yeah. No, yeah, I heard about that. They don't
So,
say nothing about
what
that.
it
All the
is
donations
they're-
go to Democrat Party.
No, they're literally a funnel organization. They've got $270 million, and where's it going?
Democrat Party.
Not-
They're
A
literally
few more places, but I'm not
the
going
money-
to get that
the
deep.
money
It
goes-
just went to a few
yeah,
more.
the
that's
money
kinda fraud.
comes through them, and then they just reshuffle it. That's all they are. They're a front. And when you look at Black Lives Matter, there's nothing actually in there. Like, you even saw it on CNN with Don Lemon. He was like, this isn't about and this is where I'll say that Terry, or maybe it was Terry Crews or somebody else brought this up. This has nothing to do with being a coon. He was actually keeping a stack. Don Lemon was trying to say that Black Lives Matter isn't about black on black crime. And again, I don't like using that term because white on white crime, you kill people you live by, basically.
Yeah,
white
that's
on white,
dumb,
black
yeah.
on black is dumb. 88% of blacks kill each other, 85% of whites kill each other. That's not the point. But what I'm saying is that black people, violence in our communities is an issue, right? So you can't just ignore that when you're trying to talk about actual Black Lives Mattering, because it can't only matter when, again, I'm not saying that everybody that knows me knows that there's no way I would ever say that a white cop should ever have the right to kill any black person, but we can't just ignore.
To
the
be
shit
honest, I
that
don't think we
happened.
ignore it though because you do have people.
No, but I'm saying
people
Black
who do
Lives
have-
Matter. If that organization is what it says it was, that would matter to it. There's nothing.
yeah.
There's
No, you
literally
can't
nothing
remember the
in
bylaws
their
that
mission.
say that.
When you write a mission statement as an organization, that's what drives your thinking. There's nothing in their mission statement that talks about anything
in the
related
black
to that.
community, basically. It just talks about the cops, basically, in the black community. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a bunch of BS.
And
Me and
so,
Larry were talking about that.
I get what you're saying.
How
No, yeah,
we
I
live in a
agree
white
with most of that.
neighborhood. We
agree.
live in a white suburb now, and every house we see it say Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter.
And I'm
And
looking
it's
at
like,
this
and
like,
I'm looking at it like, well, then why don't we see any change in our streets then if Black Lives really matter? Like, how could that happen to George
well,
Floyd?
the
just
thing
this
is
summer?
like, again, these slogans are
Like-
really cheap. They're like a campaign slogan.
yeah, it's like
They make you
a
feel
front,
good, but
yeah.
they don't mean
It's like
shit.
a front for the outside too. Like when shit was getting rioted. Oh, we put Black Lives Matter up. We're for them, so they're not gonna do this to us. They're not gonna do that to us. We're gonna be protected by the black people. You know, so we wouldn't come to them. But it's like when you see those same people. in
Actually, you
public,
want to know? I'm gonna look up who owns the trademark to that name.
I heard it's a white man.
Probably. I mean, I don't know, but we need to find that out. I mean,
Some white man, you know. We just started out there, white man. Fuck it.
I mean, I don't know. Even if there's nothing wrong with that, again, I'm not going to generalize or whatever, but I'm just saying that's just like that whole thing is just a front, in my opinion.
All right, fellas, moving on here. Last topic, y'all. Man, y'all, we we almost had fans. This almost was a 2-hour show this week because listen, we will sad news. Now look, me and Mike will probably use Twitter, Instagram, and probably have some clips of some stuff he want to talk about because I'm gonna do the same. But we will not have a show next Thursday or maybe the following Thursday because I will be going out of town for a week. Mike will be going out of town when I get back. So we might have time when we both when I get back in that little time frame to do a show. It depends on our schedule. But if not, just we'll make clips from the Brotherly Differences page or we'll go live and we'll talk about some quick topics and stuff like that. But we'll keep being on the page, so keep commenting and stuff like that. Once again, we appreciate y'all for being in here this long, for commenting, for sticking with us.
Yeah,
Alvin,
I've been
Lamar in here now, Prince, Morgan. We appreciate all y'all, everybody that's here. Joe, Larry, James, Artists and Fitness. So this show was a little bit longer than other shows, and we're about to get out of here with the last topic. Well, we got the last topic, And I want to hear about this one too because I've been getting tired of hearing about these. Where y'all going? Alvin, I'm going to Cincinnati on Saturday. I'm gonna be going from Saturday to next Sunday. I'm going to Cincinnati to see the fam. And then when I go to Cincinnati, me and my cousin, we're going to be there for a few days. Then we're going to Indianapolis to see one of our cousins. Then we're going to Lincoln, Illinois. And then we're going to St. Louis. And then I'm flying back from St. Louis to Minnesota. So I'm going on the little Midwest expedition there.
But I'm going West Coast to Vegas
Yeah.
next week. So
Hey.
yeah.
So I'm going on a little Midwest adventure. Look, y'all, I got my mask, so I'm going to be masked up.
Yeah, I get my mask too.
So yeah, I'm gonna be there in my third home, Cincinnati. But before we get out of here, y'all, we got one more thing we want to talk about. Because I want to see what y'all say about it, and I want to see what, the guys say about it here. And a few of them are married, so it's going to be interesting to see. Does marriage validate a relationship, fellas? Like, so when you get married, does that the validation say this is a good relationship or that was a good relationship because they got married? Regardless of what happens in a marriage, does getting married validate a relationship
No,
at
it
that point in
doesn't.
time?
No, it doesn't.
At that point in time, does it validate a relationship? Because I asked that question because if it doesn't, I'm like, then what is the point of getting married? What does it do? What does the marriage do for the relationship? Because I hear some people, and this is why I asked this question, because lately I've been seeing on Facebook, and we got family members that say, well, if you've never been married, I don't want to hear you give me no relationship advice if you've never been a married person. And I disagree with that, but I've never been married. So I want to know, does marriage validate a relationship?
Ooh, that's
We'll let the married man
Go ahead,
talk.
James. You can talk.
No,
Go
because
ahead.
there's such things.
And
like,
he's a married man, by the way, folks.
there's there's so many different situations. So my big answer with things like that is it always depends. But like, what do you say about arranged marriages or people who get married right after high school or college? And then you got people like myself and my wife. We've been together 10 years, so we were basically living married. And then we got married, but we were already established well before that marriage date.
Yep.
So, to me, the way that I see it, I celebrate the original date when my wife and I got together in college. I don't really celebrate the marriage date as much because in my mind, I look at that as a legal document.
Yeah.
A legal document.
So, but, for other people, it weighs differently in their mind. So it just all depends on, like, the person and the situation and what they value.
Okay, I like that because
I like
that's
that
kind of that's why I believe in common law marriage because it's kind of like that. Like you
Yeah.
said, 10 years y'all was cohabiting, y'all was basically married,
Basically.
playing bills together, living together, being one, committed to each other.
And some people think they're in love at that time.
Yeah.
Like James said, you get married when you're young. You think you're in love at that time.
The thing is, divorce attorneys big business in the U.S.
Divorce attorneys are big business in the U.S. because they get money. They
Oh,
get,
for sure.
especially
Like
from the
half
rich people.
Half of marriages end in divorce, so
So
I mean,
That is true.
so marriage
So
don't
I think a
validate.
lot of people do it as a comfort thing.
Yeah, I
A
mean,
lot of
with
people
me,
it's a
I
comfort
mean,
thing.
know what
It's
they're
a comfort thing.
yeah.
So you don't think it validates a relationship then?
No, I think it in some cases it actually could be the end of it.
Yeah, true. Yeah, some people. Yeah,
If some people aren't title people, like I'm someone that's cool. I've always all my relationships go well until okay, you're my girlfriend now. All right, now we got some.
some people do it for just that
then
day
that-
too.
Like
to be
that's-
honest,
yeah, and I mean,
for that married day. I mean, for
like,
that wedding
did
day.
you guys see that Steven Jackson story?
I
How
have.
he
All
walked
about
up-
how he left his
he
girl.
left
I
his
heard
girl
about it, but
altar.
I really don't know about it. But I
She
heard he
signed the
left
prenup.
it.
Yeah, I mean,
He's smart though.
Yeah.
no, I mean, I just think that there's like I don't think they make them like that no more, like the real authentic ones. They might.
Jackson.
Steven Jackson. Yeah, I heard about that. That he
Yeah.
dipped.
Yeah,
He
he
walked
did.
off with the order. She was having a prenup.
Yeah, because then she tried to sign it there, but everybody knows that if you sign a prenup under duress, you can't sign a contract under duress. It can easily get thrown out in court.
Yep. The rest.
Yeah,
The rest.
duress, alcohol, anything like that. You
Business
can't do
law
that.
101,
So
basically.
he,
Yeah.
he was like, nope, you can't finesse me. You can't.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, to get back to the original question, it's basically echoes what he said.
Yeah, I don't think it validates
I
relationship.
don't think
Kinda
it's
drop the mic
anything
on
at all.
that.
Again, it's kind of just one of those superficial things that, again, the reason days like weddings are created is because somebody makes money. A lot of these holidays are just to stimulate some type of economic
It
activity.
started with religion too.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically.
You don't have weddings. That's a huge industry. Look how many billions are made in every industry has a size. If you Google the wedding industry, you can figure out how many reasons they have to keep, these
And
type
if you
of...
rich getting married, like Adele just got to
So-
pay her husband $100 million.
So
And again, divorce lawyers, they make a bunch of money too. There's a huge industry
Yeah.
behind that.
so married men in the room. Do y'all think so? Could you take relationship advice from somebody who's not married?
I think you
Yeah.
can. I think you can. I think you could take relationship advice from somebody who ain't married. I understand where they come from. You ain't been married because you really, when they say that, you basically ain't been with that person every day and stuff. You
What
ain't
if you've
dealt
been
with
committed? Like James said, even with his girl
If
for
you've been
10 years
committed,
living together.
That's a good point.
You've been committed, and that's because this is what I tell many people. I say if I'm committed, if you married but you out cheating on your wife and stuff like that, and you commit adultery and you coming home and you got other women or she got other men. Why would anybody want to listen to that relationship?
Yeah,
That's not a relationship.
Well,
That's why I think. Well,
Yeah.
that's my thing. It's like if you're gonna learn from people that are in a relationship, you just learn from how they actually like interact with each other, because that's probably where you would learn the most, right? It's not like it's just you watch. Oh, okay, they interact in this certain way. You know, I mean, you people.
And
like
be
that.
careful in advice you take in relationships, because like you said,
Right.
everybody's relationship is so different.
Right.
It's hard to take. You take the advice, but you still don't take it fully and take their decisions. You kind of just think about it. So yeah,
But that I think it really depends on the intelligence of whoever is getting the advice.
Right.
I mean, if you listen about the Kobe Bryant story, he got advice from a kid. And like working with kids, I can attest to you that if you can take advice from kids, it's not about if they've been married or not. It's about the words they're saying. Because my example with kids is kids have a very simple way of looking at things. So like if you say someone's your friend and they come and cuss you out, and the kid looks at like, why would you be friends with that person? They just yelled at you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not, the kid isn't at fault for never being married and not being an adult and not understanding adult issues.
Sometimes it's
It's
the
the intellect of
simplicity.
the person who's listening. So I've never been married, but I gave relationship advice because I was in a relationship. So the feelings and the words that are coming out.
and sometimes taking advice from somebody who ain't been there and did it
That could
is
be
actually
better.
better too, because
Right.
you get different perspective on things.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I agree with you. I kind of agree.
nothing's
You're right.
ever black and white. You know.
Well, a lot of married people do say that you ain't never been married. Y'all got a point, because sometimes taking advice from somebody who ain't never been married is actually
You know,
better.
that's why I like pulling from these Facebook topics, because it'd be just so much out there that we could talk about, and it'd be so much stuff that I'd be saying different opinions from people who married and not married. So we like to incorporate that into the real talk section. But y'all know how we do, man. We want to thank Oppo again for taking the time out on his Thursday night to come over here and do this show with us, because Oppo usually go live. Y'all check Oppo out on his page.
Yes.
He go live and he give all type of financial literacy courses. He give all type of like future investment, like his app. He give future investment deals and stuff like that. So look, if y'all into the investment world and you want to know about business and know about finance and money, I'm sitting right next to two of the gurus right here. So y'all can hit them up and share, listen, comment, share, subscribe. We appreciate y'all. This was the 20th episode of 2020, and we got more to come. And like I said, we'll be off for a couple weeks, but we love y'all. Thanks for the
Thank you guys
support.
again for having me on, Rod and Mike. Appreciate that. I had a blast.
Anytime, you're welcome back, man. I think the people liked you too, so they didn't come at you too bad.
Because I was putting you in your place. They were like, about time somebody come here to check.
He had a few good points. I'm proud to say that my teachers have paid off over the years. I'm proud to, but shout out to Artists and Fitness as well. We couldn't, without our studio.
Hey, make sure you download that Arvo app, ahrvo.com.
Yep, download my guy's app.
We rank over 10,000 stocks and ETFs to make it easy for you to make investing decisions. You won't
be disappointed. I'm telling y'all, my man's doing his thing.
Spit a track.
Till next time.
Peace out. See y'all soon.
Deuces.
Check the YouTube page. Hey, shit right here.
Cheer, Rod.
All right. Good shit, guys.
Another one.